neighbors, whereas when by yourself you should have called it tranquility and freedom, and herein deemed yourself like unto the gods. And when in the company of the many you should not have called it a weirdsome crowd and tumult, but an assembly and a tribunal, and thus accepted all with contentment. What then is the chastisement of those who accept it? Not to be as they are. Is any discontented with being alone? Let him be in solitude. Is any discontented with his parents? Let him be a bad son and lament. Is any discontented with his children? Let him be a bad father. Throw him into prison. What prison? Where he is already, for he is there against his will. And wherever a man is against his will, there to him is a prison. Now Socrates was not in prison, since he was there with his own consent. Knowing thou what a speck thou art in comparison with the universe, that is, with respect to the body, since with respect to reason thou art not inferior to the gods, no less than they. For the greatness of reason is not measured by length or height, but by the resolves of the mind. Place then thy happiness in that wherein thou art equal to the gods. Asked how a man might eat acceptably to the gods, Epictetus replied, if when he eats he can be just, cheerful, equable, temperate, and orderly, can he not thus eat acceptably to the gods? But when you call for warm water and your slave does not answer, or when he answers brings it lukewarm, or is not even found to be in the house at all, then not to be vexed nor burst with anger is not that acceptable to the gods. But how can one endure such people? Slave, will you not endure your own brother, that has God to his forefather, even as a son sprung from the same stock, and of the same high descent as yourself? And if you are stationed in a high position, are you therefore forthwith to set up for a tyrant? Remember who you are and whom you rule, that they are by nature your kinsmen, your brothers, the offspring of God. But I paid a price for them, not they for me. Do you see whither you are looking? Down to the earth, to the to the pit, to those despicable laws of the dead, but to the laws of the gods you do not look. When we are invited to a banquet, we take what is set before us, and were one to call upon his host to set fish upon the table or sweet things, he would be deemed absurd. Yet in a word, we ask the gods for what they do not give, and that although they have given us so many things, asked how a man might convince himself that every single act of this was under the eye of God, Epictetus answered, do you not hold that all things are bound together in one? I do. Well, and do you not hold that things on earth and things in heaven are continuous and in unison with each other? I do, was the reply. Else how should the trees so regularly, as though by God's command, at his bidding flower, at his bidding send forth shoots, bear fruit and ripen it, at his bidding let it fall and shed their leaves, folded up upon themselves lie in quietness and rest? How else, as the moon waxes and wanes, as the sun approaches and recedes, can it be that such vicissitude and alternation is seen in earthly things? If then all things that grow, nay, our own bodies are thus bound up with the whole, is it not this still truer of the souls? And if our souls are bound up and in contact with God as being very parts and fragments plucked from himself, shall he not feel every movement of theirs as though it were his own, and belonging to his own nature? But you say, I cannot comprehend all this at once. Why, who told you that your powers were equal to God's? Yet God hath placed by the side of each a man's own guardian spirit. To the Stoics, the guardian spirit was each man's reason, who is charged to watch over him, a guardian who sleeps, nor is deceived. For to what better or more watchful guardian could he have committed each of us? So when you have shut the doors and made a darkness within, remember never to say that you are alone, for you are not alone, but God is within, and your guardian spirit. What light do they need to behold what you do? To this God you also should have sworn allegiance, even as soldiers unto Caesar. They, when their service is hired, swear to hold the life of Caesar dearer than all else. And will you not swear your oath, that are deemed worthy of so many and great gifts? And will you not keep your oath when you have sworn it? And what oath will you swear? never to disobey, never to arraign or murmur at aught that comes to you from his hand, never unwillingly to do or suffer aught that necessity lays upon you. Is this oath like theirs? We swear to hold no other dearer than Caesar, you to hold our true selves dearer than all else beside. How shall my brother cease to be wroth with me? Bring him to me, and I will tell him, but to thee I have nothing to say about his anger. When one took counsel of Epictetus, saying, what I seek is this, how even though my brother be not reconciled to me, I may still remain as nature would have me to be, he replied, all great things are slow of growth. Nay, this is true even of a grape or of a fig. If then you say to me now I desire a fig, I shall answer it needs time. Wait till it first flower, then cast its blossom, then ripen. Whereas when the fruit of the fig tree reaches not maturity suddenly, nor yet in a single hour, do you nevertheless desire so quickly and easily to reap the fruit of the mind of man? Nay, expect it not, even though I bade you. Epaphroditus had a shoemaker whom he sold as being good for nothing. This fellow by some accident was afterwards purchased by one of Caesar's men and became shoemaker to Caesar. You should have seen what respect Epaphroditus paid him then. How does the good Felicion kindly let me know? And if any of us inquired, what is Epaphroditus doing? The answer was, he is consulting about so-and-so with Felicion. Had he not sold him as good for nothing, who had in a trice converted him into a wiseacre? This is what comes of holding of importance anything but the things that depend on the will. What you shun, enduring yourself, attempt not to impose on others. You shun slavery. Beware of enslaving others. If you can endure to do that, one would think you had been once upon a time a slave yourself. For vice has nothing in common with virtue, nor freedom with slavery. Has a man been raised to the tribuneship? Every one that he meets congratulates him. One kisses him on the eyes, another on the neck, while the slaves kiss his hands. He goes home to find torches burning. He ascends to the Capitol to sacrifice. Whoever sacrificed for having had right desires, for having conceived such inclinations as nature would have him. In truth, we thank the gods for that wherein we place our happiness. A man was talking to me today about the priesthood of Augustus. I said to him, let the thing go, my good sir. You will spend a great deal to no purpose. Well, but my name will be inserted in all the documents and contracts. Will you be standing there to tell those that read them, that is my name written there? And even though you could now be there in every case, what will you do when you are dead? At all events, my name will remain. Inscribe it on a stone, and it will remain just as well, and think beyond Nicopolis, what memory of you will there be. But I shall have a golden wreath to wear. If you must have a wreath, get a wreath of roses and put it on. You will look more elegant. Above all, remember that the door stands open. Be not more fearful than children, but as they, when they weary of the game, cry, I will play no more. Even so, when thou art in the like case, cry, I will play no more and depart. But if thou stayest, make no lamentation. Is there smoke in the room? If it be slight, I remain. If grievous, I quit it. For you must remember this and hold it fast. The door stands open. You shall not dwell at Nicopolis, well and good, nor at Athens. Then I will not dwell at Athens either, nor at Rome, nor at Rome either. You shall dwell in Gyara. Well, but to dwell in Gyara seems to me like a grievous smoke. Depart to a place where none can forbid me to dwell. That habitation is open to all. For as for the last garment of all, it is the poor body. Beyond that, none cannot do aught unto me. This is why Demetrius said to Nero, you threaten me with death, but it is nature who threatens you. The beginning of philosophy is to know the condition of one's own mind. If a man recognizes that this is in a weakly state, he will not then want to apply it to questions of the greatest moment, as it is men who are not fit to swallow even a morsel, buy whole treatises and try to devour them. Accordingly, they either vomit them up again or suffer from indigestion, whence come gripings, fluxions, and fevers, whereas they should have stopped to consider their capacity. In theory, it is easy to convince an ignorant person. In actual life, men not only object to offer themselves to be convinced, but hate the man who has convinced them. Whereas Socrates used to say that we should never lead a life not subjected to examination. This is the reason why Socrates, when reminded that he should prepare for his trial, answered, "Thinkest thou not that I have been preparing for it all my life? In what way? I have maintained that which in me lay. How so? I have never secretly, openly done a wrong unto any. In what character dost thou now come forward? Is a witness summoned by God. Come thou, saith God, and testify for me, for thou art worthy of being brought forward as a witness by me. Is aught that is outside thy will either good or bad? Do I hurt any man? Have I placed the good of each in the power of any other than himself? What witness dost thou bear to God? I am in evil state, master, I am undone. None careth for me, none giveth me aught. All men blame, all speak evil of me. Is this the witness thou wilt bear and do dishonour to the calling wherewith he hath called thee? Because he hath done thee so great honour, and deemed thee worthy of being summoned to bear witness in so great a cause? Wouldst thou have men speak good of thee? Speak good of them. And when thou hast learned to speak good of them, try to do good unto them, and thus thou wilt reap in return their speaking good of thee. When thou goest into any of the great, remember that another from above sees what is passing, and that thou shouldest please him rather than man. He therefore asks thee, is this in the schools? What didst thou call exile, imprisonment, bonds, death, and shame? I call them different things, and I call them things indifferent. What then dost thou call them now? Are they at all changed? No. It is then thou that art changed? No. Say then, what are things indifferent? Things that are not in our power. Say then what follows, that things which are not in our power are nothing to me. Say also what things you hold to be good, a will such as it ought to be, and a right use of the things of sense. And what is the end? To follow thee. That Socrates should ever have been so treated by the Athenians, slave. Why say Socrates? Speak of the thing as it is. That ever then the poor body of Socrates should have been dragged away and haled by main force to prison. That ever hemlock should have been given to the body of Socrates. That should have breathed its life away. Do you marvel at this? Do you hold this unjust? Is it for this that you accuse God? Had Socrates no compensation for this? Where then for him was the ideal good? Whom shall we hearken to, you or him? And what says he? Anytus and Miletus may put me to death, to injure me is beyond their power. And again, if such be the will of God, so let it be. Nay, young man, for heaven's sake, but once thou hast heard these words, go home and say to thyself, it is not Epictetus that has told me these things, how indeed should he? No, it is some gracious God through him, else it would never have entered his head to tell me them. He that is not used to speak to any one of us. Well then, let us not lie under the wrath of God, but be obedient unto him. Nay, indeed, but if a raven by its croaking bears thee any sign, it is not the raven, but God that sends the sign through the raven. And if he signifies anything to thee through human voice, will he not cause the man to say these words to thee, that thou mayest know the power of the divine? How he sends a sign to some in one way, and to others in another, and on the greatest and highest matters of all signifies his will through the noblest messenger. What else does the poet mean? I spake unto him erst myself, and sent Hermes in the shining, one to check and warn him, the husband not to slay, nor woo the wife. In the same way, my friend Heraclitus, who had a trifling suit about a petty farm at Rhodes, first showed the judges that his cause was just, and then at the finish cried, I will not entreat you, nor do I care what sentence you pass. It is you who are on your trial, not I. And so he ended the case. As for us, we behave like a herd of deer. When they flee from the huntsman's feathers in affright, which way do they turn? What haven of safety do they make for? Why, they rush upon the nets, and thus they perish by confounding what they should fear with that wherein no danger lies. Not death or pain is to be feared, but the fear of death or pain. Well said the poet, therefore, death has no terror, only a death of shame. How is it then that certain external things are said to be natural, and others contrary to nature? Why, just as it might be said if we stood alone and apart from others, a foot, for instance, I will allow it is natural should be clean, but if you take it as a foot, and as a thing which does not stand by itself, it will beseem it, if need be, to walk in the mud, to tread on thorns, and sometimes even to be cut off, for the benefit of the whole body. Else it is no longer a foot. In some such way we should conceive of ourselves also. What art thou, a man? Looked at as standing by thyself and separate, it is natural for thee in health and wealth long to live. But looked at as a man and only as a part of a whole, it is for that whole's sake that thou shouldst at one time fall sick, at another brave the perils of the sea again. Know the meaning of want and perhaps die an earthly death, an early death. Why then repine? Knowest thou not that as the foot is no more a foot if detached from the body, so thou in like case art no longer a man? For what is a man? A part of a city. First of the city of gods and of men. Next of that which ranks nearest it, a miniature of the universal city. In such a body, in such a world enveloping us, among lives like these, such things must happen to one or another. A part then being there is to speak of these things as is meet, and to order them as befits the matter. That was a good reply which Diogenes made to a man who asked him for letters of recommendation. That you are a man, he will know when he sees you, whether a good or a bad one. He will know if he has any skill in discerning the good and the bad. But if he has none, he will never know, though I write to him 1,000 times. It is as though a piece of silver money desired to be recommended to someone to be tested. If the man be a good judge of silver, he will know the coin will tell its own tale. Even as the traveler asks his way of him that he meets inclined in no wise to bear to the right rather than to the left, for he desires only the way leading whither he would go, so should we come unto God as to a guide, even as we use our eyes without admonishing them, to show us some things rather than others, but content to receive the images of such things as they present unto us. But as it is, we stand anxiously watching the victim, and with the voice of supplication call upon the augur, Master, have mercy on me, vouchsafe unto me a way of escape. Slave, would you then have aught else than what is best? Is there anything better than what is God's good pleasure? Why, as far as in you lies, would you corrupt your judge and lead your counselor astray? God is beneficent, but the good also is beneficent. It should seem then that where the real nature of God is, there too is to be found the real nature of the good. What then is the real nature of God? Intelligence, knowledge, right, reason. Here then, without more ado, seek the real nature of the good, for surely thou dost not seek it in a plant or in an animal that reasoneth not. Seek then the real nature of the good in that without whose presence thou wilt not admit the good to exist in aught else. What then? Are not these other things also works of God? They are, but not preferred to honor, nor are they portions of God. But thou art a thing preferred to honor, thou art thyself a fragment torn from God. Thou hast a portion of him within thyself. How is it then that thou dost not know thy high descent, dost not know whence thou comest? Dost not know whence thou comest? When thou eatest, wilt thou not remember who thou art that eatest and whom thou feedest? In intercourse, in exercise, in discussion, knowest thou not that it is a God whom thou feedest, a God whom thou exercisest, a God whom thou bearest about with thee, O miserable? And thou perceivest it not. Thinkest thou that I speak of a God of silver or gold that is without thee? Nay, thou bearest him within thee, all unconscious of polluting him with thoughts impure and unclean deeds, were an image of God present. Thou wouldst not dare to act as thou dost, yet when God himself is present within thee, beholding and hearing all, thou dost not blush to think that such thoughts and do such deeds. O thou that art insensible of thine own nature, and liest under the wrath of God, why then are we afraid when we send a young man from the schools into active life, lest he should indulge his appetites intemperately, lest he should debase himself by ragged clothing, or be puffed up by fine raiment? Knowest he not the God within him? Knowest he not with whom he is starting on his way? Have we patience to hear him say to us, Would I had thee within me? Hast thou not God where thou art, and having him dost thou still seek for any other? Would he tell thee aught what else than these things? Why wert thou a statue of Phidias, an Athena, or a Zeus? Thou wouldst bethink thee both of thyself and thine artificer. And hadst thou any sense, thou wouldst strive to do no dishonor to thyself or him that fashioned thee, nor appear to beholders in unbefitting guise. But now, because God is thy maker, is that why thou carest not of that of what sort thou shalt know thyself to be. Yet how different the artists and their workmanship. What human artist's work, for example, has in the faculties that are displayed in fashioning it? Is it aught but marble, bronze, gold, or ivory? Nay, when the Athena of Phidias has put forth her hand and received therein a victory, in that attitude she stands forevermore. But God's works move and breathe, they use and judge the things of sense, the workmanship of such an artist. Wilt thou dishonor him? Aye, when he not only fashioned thee, but placed thee like a ward in the care and guardianship of thyself alone, wilt thou not only forget this, but also do dishonor to what is committed to thy care? If God had entrusted thee with an orphan, wouldst thou have thus neglected him? He hath delivered thee to thine own care, saying, I had none more faithful than myself. Keep this man for me, such as nature hath made him, modest, faithful, high-minded, a stranger to fear, to passion, to perturbation. Such will I show myself to you all, what exempt from sickness also, from age, from death. Nay, but accepting sickness, accepting death as becomes a god. No labor, according to Diogenes, is good, but that which aims at producing courage and strength of soul rather than of body. A guide on finding a man who has lost his way brings him back to the right path. He does not mock and jeer at him and then take himself off. You also must show the unlearned man the truth, and you will see that he will follow, but so long as you do not show it to him. You should not mock, but rather feel your own incapacity. It was the first and most striking characteristic of Socrates never to become heated in discourse, never to utter an injurious or insulting word. On the contrary, he persistently bore insult from others, and thus put an end to the fray. If you care to know the extent of his power in this direction, read Xenophon's Banquet, and you will see how many quarrels he put an end to. That is why the poets are right in so highly commending this faculty. Quickly and wisely, with all, even bitter feuds, would he settle. Nevertheless, the practice is not very safe at present, especially in Rome. One who adopts it, I need not say, ought not to carry it out in an obscure corner, but boldly accost, if occasion serve some personage of rank or wealth. Can you tell me, sir, to whose care you entrust your horses? I can. Is it to the first comer who knows nothing about them? Certainly not. Well, what of the man who takes care of your gold, your silver, or your raiment? He must be experienced also. And your body? Have you ever considered about entrusting it to anyone's care? Of course I have. And no doubt a person of experience is a trainer, a physician, surely. Are these things the best you possess, or have you anything more precious? What can you mean? I mean, that which employs thee, which weighs all things, which takes counsel and resolve. Oh, you mean the soul. You take me rightly, I do mean the soul. By heaven, I hold that far more precious than all else I possess. Can you show me then what care you bestow on the soul. For it can scarcely be thought that a man of your wisdom and consideration in the city would suffer your most precious possession to go to ruin through carelessness and neglect. Certainly not. Well, do you take care of it yourself? Did anyone teach you the right method, or did you discover it yourself? Now here comes in the danger. First, the great man may answer, "Why, what is it that to you, my good fellow? Are you my master?" And then, if you persist in troubling him, may raise his hand to strike you. It is a practice of which I was myself warm admirer until such experiences as these befell me. When a youth was giving himself airs in the theater and saying, "I am wise, for I have conversed with many wise," Epictetus replied, "I too have conversed with many rich men, yet I am not rich." We see that a carpenter becomes a carpenter by learning certain things, like that of a pilot. By learning certain things becomes a pilot. Possibly also in the present case, the mere desire to be wise and good is not enough. It is necessary to learn certain things. Is then the object of our search. The philosophers would have us first learn that there is a God, and that his providence directs the universe. Further, that to hide from him not only one's acts, but even one's thoughts and intentions is impossible. Secondly, what the nature of God is, whatever the nature is discovered to be, the man ease and his might to made like unto him. If the divine is faithful, he also must be faithful. If free, he also must be free. If beneficent, he also must be beneficent. If magnanimous, he also must be magnanimous. Thus, as an imitator of God, must he follow him in every deed and word. If I show you that you lack just what is most important and necessary to happiness, that hitherto your attention has been bestowed on everything rather than that which claims it most, and to crown all, that you know neither what God nor man is, neither what God nor evil is, why? That you are ignorant of everything else, perhaps you may bear to be told, but to hear that you know nothing of yourself, how could you submit to that? How could you stand your ground and suffer that to be proved? Clearly not at all. You instantly turn away in wrath. Yet what harm have I done you? Unless indeed the mirror harms the ill-favored man by showing him to himself just as he is, unless the physician can be thought to insult his patient when he... Do you suppose there is nothing new? Why, you have a fever, eat nothing today and drink only water. Yet no one says what an insufferable man. Your desires are inflamed, your instinct action are weak and low, your aims are inconsistent, your impulses are not in harmony with nature, your opinions are rash and false. He forthwith goes away and complains that you have insulted him. Our way of life resembles a fair. The fox and herds are passing along to be sold, and the greater part of the crowd to buy and sell. But there are some few who come only to look at the fair, to inquire how and why it is being held, upon what authority and with what object. So too, in this great fair of life, some, like the cattle, trouble themselves about nothing but the fodder. Know all of you, who are busied about land, slaves, and public posts, that there are nothing but fodder. Some few things are attending the fair, who love to contemplate what the world is, what he that administers it. Can there be no administrator? Is it possible that while neither city nor household could endure even for a moment without one to administer and see to its welfare, this fabric so fair, so vast, should be administered in order so harmonious, without a purpose, and by blind chance? There is therefore an administrator. What is his nature, and how much and how does he administer? Who are we that are his children, and what work were we born to perform? Have we any close connection or relation with him or not? Such are the impressions of the few of whom I speak, and further they apply themselves solely to considering and examining the great assembly before they depart. Where they are derided by the multitude, so are the lookers on by the traders. Aye, and if the beast had any sense, they would deride those who thought much of anything but fodder. I think I know now what I never knew before, the meaning of the common saying, "A fool you can neither bend nor break." Pray heaven I may never have a wise fool for my friend. There is nothing more intractable, my resolve is fixed. Why, so madmen say too, but the more firmly they believe in the delusions, the more they stand in need of treatment. Oh, What shall I see Athens and its Acropolis again? Miserable man, art thou not contented with the daily sights and meet thine eyes? Canst thou behold aught greater or nobler than the sun, moon, and stars? Than the outspread earth and sea? If indeed thou apprehendest him who administers the universe, if thou bearest him about within thee, canst thou still hanker after mere fragments of stone and a fine rock? When thou art about to bid farewell to the sun and moon itself, wilt thou sit down and cry like a child? Why, what didst thou hear? What didst thou learn? Why didst thou write thyself down a philosopher when thou mightest have written what was the fact, namely, I have made 1 or 2 compendiums. I have read some works of Chrysippus, and I have not even touched the hem of philosophy's robe. Friend, lay hold with a desperate grasp ere it is too late on freedom, on tranquility, on greatness of soul. Lift up thy thread, lift up thy head, as one escaped from slavery. Dare to look up to God and say, deal with me henceforth as thou wilt. Thou and I are of one mind. I am thine, I refuse nothing that seemeth good to thee. Lead on whither thou wilt, clothe me in what garb thou pleasest. Wilt thou have me a ruler or a subject, at home or in exile, poor or rich? All these things will I justify unto men for thee. I will show the true nature of each. Who would Hercules have been had he loitered at home? No Hercules, but Eurystheus. And in his wanderings through the world, how many friends and comrades did he find, but nothing dearer to him than God? Wherefore he was believed to be God's son, as indeed he was. So then, in obedience to him, he went about delivering the earth from injustice and lawlessness. But thou art not Hercules, thou sayest, and canst not deliver others from their iniquity, not even Theseus to deliver the soil of Attica from its monsters. Put away thine own, cast forth thence from thine own mind, that robbers and monsters but fear, desire, envy, malignity, avarice, effeminacy, intemperance, and these may not be cast out except by looking to God alone, by fixing thy affections on him only, and by consecrating thyself to his commands. If thou choosest aught else with sighs and groans, thou wilt be forced to follow a might greater than thine own, ever seeking tranquility without, and never able to attain unto her. For thou seekest her where she is not to be found, and where she is, there thou seekest her not. If a man would pursue philosophy, his first task is to throw away conceit, for it is impossible for a man to begin to learn what he has a conceit that he already knows. For it is impossible for a man to begin to learn what he has a conceit, that he already knows. Give me but one young man that has come to the school with this intention, who stands forth the champion of this cause, and says, all else I renounce. Content if I am but able to pass my life free from hindrance and trouble, to raise my head aloft and face all things as a free man, to look up to heaven and as a friend of God fearing. Nothing that may come to pass, point out such a one to me, that I may say, enter, young man, into possession of that which is thine own. For thy lot is to adorn philosophy. Thine are these possessions, thine these books, these discourses. And when our champion has duly exercised himself in this part of the subject, I hope he will come back to me and say, what I desired is to be free from passion and from perturbation, as one who grudges no pains in the pursuit of piety and philosophy. What I desire is to know my duty to the gods, my duty to my parents, to my brothers, to my country, to my strangers. Enter then on the second part of the subject. It is thine also, but I have already mastered the second part, only I wish to stand firm and unshaken, as firm when asleep as when awake, as firm when elated as with wine, as in despondency and dejection. Friend, you are verily a god, you cherish great designs. The question at stake, said Epictetus, is no common one. It is this: are we in our senses, or are we not? If you have given way to anger, be sure that over and above the evil involved therein, you have strengthened the habit and added fuel to the fire. If overcome by a temptation of the flesh, do not reckon it a single defeat, but that you have also strengthened your dissolute habits. Habits and faculties are necessarily affected by the corresponding acts. Those that were not there before spring up, the rest gain in strength and extent. This is the account which philosophers give of the origin of diseases of the mind. Suppose you have once lusted after money. If reason sufficient to produce a sense of the evil be applied, then the lust is checked, and the mind at once regains its original authority. Whereas if you have recourse to no remedy, you can no longer look for this return. On the contrary, the next time it is excited by the corresponding object, the flame of desire leaps up more quickly than before. By frequent repetition, the mind in the long run becomes callous, and thus this mental disease produces confirmed avarice. One who has had fever, even when it has left him, is not in the same condition of health as before. Unless indeed his cure is complete. Something of the same sort is true also of diseases of the mind. Behind there remains a legacy of traces and of blisters, and unless these are effectually erased, subsequent blows on the same spot will produce no longer mere blisters, but sores. If you do not wish to be prone to anger, do not feed the habit. Give it nothing which may tend to its increase. At first, keep quiet and count the days when you were not angry. You used to be angry every day, then every other day, next every 2, next every 3 days. And if you succeed in passing 30 days, sacrifice to the gods in thanksgiving. How then may this be attained? Resolve now, if never before, to prove thyself to thyself. Resolve to show thyself fair in God's sight. Long to be pure with thine own pure self and God. That is the true athlete that trains himself to resist such outward impressions as these. Stay, wretched man, suffer not thyself to be carried away. Great is the combat, divine the task. You are fighting for kingship, for liberty, for happiness, for tranquility. Remember God, call upon him to aid thee, like a comrade that stands beside thee in the fight. Who then is a Stoic? In the sense that we call that a statue of Phidias, which is modeled after that master's art. Show me a man in this sense modeled after the doctrines that are ever upon his lips. Show me a man that is sick and happy, in danger and happy on his deathbed, and happy in exile and happy in evil report and happy. Show me him, I ask again, so help me heaven, I long to see one Stoic. Nay, if you cannot show me one fully modeled, let me at least see one in whom the process is at work, one whose bent is in that direction. Do me that favor, grudge it not to an old man to behold a sight that he has never yet beheld. Think you I wish to see the Zeus or Athena of Phidias? Bedecked with gold and ivory? Nay, show me one of you a human soul, desiring to be of one mind with God, no more to lay blame on him or man, to suffer nothing, to disappoint nothing, to cross him, to yield neither to anger, envy, nor jealousy. In a word, why disguise the matter? One that from a man would fain become a god, one that while still imprisoned in this dead body makes fellowship with God his aim. Show me him. Aye, you cannot. Then why mock yourselves and delude others? Why stalk about, tricked out in other men's attire, thieves and robbers that you are, of names and things to which you can show no title? But God hath introduced man to be a spectator of himself and of his works, and not a spectator only, but also an interpreter of them. Wherefore it is a shame for man to begin and to leave off where the brutes do. Rather he should begin there, and leave off where nature leaves off in us, and that is at contemplation and understanding, and a manner of life that is in harmony with herself. See then that ye die not without being spectators of these things. You journey to Olympia to see the work of Phidias, and each of you holds it a misfortune not to have beheld these things before you die. Whereas when there is no need even to take a journey, but you are on the spot with the works before you, have you no care to contemplate and study these? Will you not then perceive either who you are or unto what end you were born, or for what purpose the power of contemplation has bestowed upon you? But in life there are some things disagreeable and hard to bear. And are there none at Olympia? Have you not scorched by the heat? Are you not cramped for room? Have you not to bathe with discomfort? Are you not drenched when it rains? Have you not to endure the clamor and shouting and such annoyances as these? Well, I suppose you set all this over against the splendor of the spectacle and bear it patiently. What then? Have you not received powers wherewith to endure all that comes to pass? Have you not received greatness of heart, received courage, received fortitude? What care I if I am great of heart, for aught that can come to pass? What shall cast me down or disturb me? What shall seem painful? Shall I not use the power to end for which I received it, instead of moaning and wailing over what comes to pass? If what philosophers say of the kinship of God and men be true, what remains for man to do but as Socrates did? Never, when asked one's country, to answer, I am an Athenian or a Corinthian, but I am a citizen of the world. He that hath grasped the administration of the world, who hath learned that this community, which consists of God and men, is the foremost and mightiest and most comprehensive of all, that from God have descended the germs of life, not to my father only and father's father, but to all things that are born and grow upon the earth, and in an especial manner to those endowed with reason, for those only are by their nature fitted to hold communion with God, being by means of reason conjoined with him. Why should not such an one call himself a citizen of the world? Why not a son of God? Why should he fear aught that comes to pass among men? Shall kinship with Caesar or any other of the great at Rome be enough to hedge men around with safety and consideration, without a thought of apprehension, while to have God for our Maker, and Father the kinsman, shall not this set us free from sorrows and fears? I do not think that an old fellow like me need have been sitting here to try and prevent your entertaining abject notions of yourselves, and talking of yourselves in an abject and ignoble way, but to prevent there being by chance among you any such young men as, after recognizing the kindred to the gods, and the bondage in these chains of the body and its manifold necessities, should desire to cast them off as burdens too grievous to be borne, and depart to their true kindred. This is the struggle in which your master and teacher, were he worthy of the name, should be engaged. You would come to me and say, Epictetus, we can no longer endure being chained to this wretched body, giving it food and drink and rest and purification. Aye, and for its sakes forced to be subservient to this man and that. Are not these things indifferent and nothing to us? Is it not true that death is no evil? Are we not in a manner kinsmen of the gods, and have we not come from them? Let us depart thither whence we came. Let us be freed from these chains that confine and press us down. Here are thieves and robbers and tribunals, and they that are called tyrants, who deem that they have after a fashion power over us, because of the miserable body and what pertains to it. Let us show them that they have power over none. And to this I reply, friends, wait for God. When he gives the signal and releases you from this service, then depart to him. But for the present endure to dwell in the place wherein he hath assigned you your post. Short indeed is the time of your habitation therein, and easy to those that are thus minded. What tyrant, what robber, what tribunals have any terrors for those who thus esteem the body and all that belong to it as of no account? Stay, depart not rashly hence. Something like that is what should pass between a teacher and ingenious youths. As it is, what does pass? The teacher is a lifeless body, and you are lifeless bodies yourselves. When you have had enough to eat today, you sit down and weep about tomorrow's food. Slave! If you have it, well and good. If not, you will depart. The door is open. Why lament? What further room is there for tears? What further occasion for flattery? Why should one envy another? Why should you stand in awe of them that have much or are placed in power, especially if they be at all so strong and passionate? Why? What should they do to us? What they can do we will not regard. What does concern us that they cannot do? Who then shall still rule one that is thus minded? Seeing this then, and noting well the faculties which you have, you should say, send now, O God, any trial that thou wilt. Although I have means and powers given me by thee to acquit myself with honor, through whatever comes to pass. No, but there you sit trembling for fear certain things should come to pass, and moaning and groaning and lamenting over what does come to pass, and then you upbraid the gods. Such meanness of spirit can have but one result: impiety. Yet God has not only given us these faculties by means of which we may bear everything that comes to pass without being crushed or depressed thereby, but like a good king and father, he has given us this without let or hindrance, placed wholly at our own disposition without reserving to himself any power of impediment or restraint. Though possessing all these things free and all your own, you do not use them. You do not perceive what is you have received, nor whence it comes, but sit moaning and groaning, some of you blind to the giver, making no acknowledgement to your benefactor, others basely giving themselves to complaints and accusations against God. Yet what faculties and powers you possess for attaining courage and greatness of heart, I can easily show you. What you have for upbraiding and accusation, it is for you to show me. How did Socrates bear himself in this regard? How else than as became one who was fully assured that he was the kinsman of the gods? If God has made that part of his own nature which he served, severed from himself and gave to us, liable to be hindered or constrained either by himself or any other, he would not have been God, nor would he have been taking care of us as he ought. If you choose, you are free. If you choose, you need blame no man, accuse no man. All things will be at once according to your mind and according to the mind of God. Petrification is of two sorts. There is petrification of the understanding, and also the sense of shame. This happens when a man obstinately refuses to acknowledge plain truths and persists in maintaining what is self-contradictory. Most of us dread mortification of the body and would spare no pains to escape anything of that kind, but of mortification of the soul we are utterly heedless. With regard, indeed, to the soul, if a man is in such a state as to be incapable of following or understanding anything, I grant you we do think him in a bad way. But mortification of the sense of shame and modesty, we go so far as to doubt its strength of mind. If you have assumed a character beyond your strength, you have played a poor figure in that, and neglected one that is within your powers. Fellow, you have come to blows at home with a slave. You have turned the household upside down and thrown the neighborhood into confusion. Do you come to me then with airs of assumed modesty? Do you sit down like a sage and criticize my explanation of the readings, and whatever idle babble you say has come into my head? Have you come full of envy and dejected because nothing is sent you from home, and while the discussion is going on, do you sit brooding on nothing but how your father or your brother are disposed towards you? What are they saying about me here? About me there? At this moment they imagine I am making progress and saying he will return perfectly omniscient. I wish I could become omniscient before I return, but that would be very troublesome. No one sends me anything. The baths at Nicopolis are dirty. Things are wretched at home and wretched here. Then they say nobody is any the better for the school. Who comes to the school with a sincere wish to learn, to submit his principles to correction and himself to treatment? Who to gain a sense of his wants? Why then be surprised if you carry home from the school exactly what you bring into it? Epictetus, I have often come desiring to hear you speak, and you have never given me any answer. Now, if possible, I entreat you, say something to me. Is there, do you think, replied Epictetus, an art of speaking as of other things? If it is to be done skillfully and with profit to the hearer, yes. And are all profited by what they hear, or only some among them? So that it seems there is an art of hearing as well as of speaking. To make a statue needs skill. To view a statue aright needs skill also, admitted. And I think all will allow that one who proposes to hear philosophers speak needs a considerable training in hearing. Is that not so? Then tell me, on what subject are you able to hear me? Why on good and evil? The good and evil of what? A horse, an ox? No, of a man. Do we know then what man is? What his nature is? That is the idea we have of him. And are our ears practiced in any degree on the subject? Nay, do you understand what nature is? Can you follow me in any degree when I say that I shall have to use demonstration? Do you understand what demonstration is? What true or false is? Must I drive you to philosophy? Show me what good I am to do by discoursing with. Rouse my desire to do so. The sight of the pasture it loves stirs in the sheep the desire to feed. Show the stone or a bit of bread and it remains unmoved. Thus we must also have certain natural desires, and one that moves us to speak when we find a listener that is worth his salt, one that himself stirs the spirit. But if he sits by like a stone or a tuft of grass, how can he rouse a man's desire? Then you will say nothing to me.
That's why I recently switched over to native body wash and deodorant. I love a fresh, clean scent, so the powder and cotton is my favorite. Body wash just lathers so well and doesn't leave residue, so I just love it. Deodorant is aluminum, paraben, and phthalate free. It also works for 72 hours. Ingredients are clean, they smell good, and they actually work.
I can only tell you this, that one who knows not who he is and to what end he was born, what kind of world this is, and with whom he is associated therein, one who cannot distinguish good and evil, beauty and foulness, truth and falsehood, will never follow reason in shaping his desires and impulses, and repulsions, nor yet innocent denial or suspension of judgment, but will in one word go about deaf and blind, thinking himself to be somewhat, and then he is in truth of no account. Is there anything new in all this? Is not this ignorance the cause of all the mistakes and mischances of men since the human race began? This is all I have to say to you, and even this against the grain. Why? Because you have not stirred my spirit, for what can I see in you to stir me? As a spirited horse will stir a judge of horses? Your body that you maltreat, your dress that is luxurious, your behavior, your look, nothing whatever. When you want to hear a philosopher, do not say you say nothing to me. Only show yourself worthy or fit to hear, and then you will see how you will move the speaker. And now, when you see brothers apparently good friends and living in accord, do not immediately pronounce anything upon their friendship, though they should affirm it with an oath, though they should declare for us to live apart is a thing impossible. For the heart of a bad man is faithless, unprincipled, inconstant. Now overpowered by one impression, now by another. Ask not the usual questions. Were they born of the same parents, reared together and under the same tutor? But ask this only, in what they place their real interest, whether in outward things or in the will. If in outward things, call them not friends, any more than faithful, constant, brave, or free. Call them not even human beings if you have any sense. But should you hear that these men hold the good to lie only in the will, only in rightly dealing with the things of sense, take no more trouble to inquire whether they are father and son or brothers or comrades of long standing, but sure of this one thing, pronounce as boldly that they are friends as that they are faithful and just. For where else can friendship be found than where modesty is, where there is an interchange of things fair and honest, and of such only? No man can rob us of our will, no man can lord it over that. When disease and death overtake me, I would fain be found engaged in the task of liberating mine own will from the assaults of passion, from hindrance, from resentment, from slavery. Thus would I fain be found employed, so that I may say to God, have I in aught transgressed thy commands? Have I in aught perverted the faculties, the senses, the natural principles that thou didst give me? Have I ever blamed thee or found fault with thine administration? When it was thy good pleasure, I fell sick, and so did other men, but my will consented. Because it was thy pleasure, I became poor, but my heart rejoiced. No power in the state was mine, because thou wouldst not such power I never desired. Hast thou ever seen me of more doleful countenance? On that account have I not ever drawn nigh unto thee with cherished, cheerful look, waiting upon thy commands, attentive to thy signals. Wilt thou that I now depart from the great assembly of men? I go, I give thee all thanks that thou hast deemed me worthy to take part with thee in this assembly, to behold thy works, to comprehend this thine administration. Such I would were the subject of my thoughts, my pen, my study, when death overtakes me. Seemeth it nothing to you, never to accuse, never to blame either good or man, to wear ever the same countenance in going forth as in coming in? This was the secret of Socrates, yet he never said that he knew or taught anything. Who amongst you makes this his aim? Were it indeed so, you would gladly endure sickness, hunger, aye, death itself. How are we constituted by nature to be free, to be noble, to be modest? For what other living thing is capable of blushing or of feeling the impression of shame, and to subordinate pleasure to the ends for which nature designed us, as a handmaid and a minister, in order to call forth our activity, in order to keep us constant to the path prescribed by nature? The husband deals with land, physicians and trainers with the body, the wise man with his own mind. Which of us does not admire what Lycurgus the Spartan did? The young citizen had put out his eye and been handed over to him by the people to be punished as his own discretion. Lycurgus abstained from all vengeance, but on the contrary instructed him and made a good man of him, producing him in the public, in the theater. He said to the astonished Spartans, I received this young man at your hands full of violence and wanton insolence. I restore him to you in his right mind and fit to serve his country. A money changer may not reject Caesar's coin, nor may the seller of herbs, but must, when once the coin is shown, deliver what is sold for it, whether he will or no. So is it also with the soul. Once the good appears, it attracts towards itself, evil repels. But a clear and certain impression of the good the soul will never reject any more than men do Caesar's coin, and this hangs every impulse alike of man and God. As to what common sense was, Epictetus replied, as that may be called a common ear which distinguishes only sounds, while that which distinguishes musical notes is not common, but produced by training. So there are certain things which men not entirely perverted see by the natural principle common to all. Such a constitution of the mind is called common sense. Canst thou judge men? Then make us imitators of thyself, as Socrates did. Do this, do not do that, else will I cast thee into prison. This is not governing men like reasonable creatures. Say rather, as God hath ordained, so do, else thou wilt suffer chastisement and loss. Askest thou what lost? None other than this, to have left undone what thou shouldst have done, to have lost the faithfulness, the reverence, the modesty that is in thee. Greater loss than this seek not to find. His son is dead. What has happened? His son is dead. Nothing more, nothing. His ship is lost. What has happened? His ship is lost. He has been haled to prison. What has happened? He has been haled to prison. But that any of these things are misfortunes to him. He is an addition with every one makes of his own. But you say God is unjust in this way. Why? For having given thee endurance and greatness of soul, for having made such things to be no evils, for placing happiness within thy reach even when enduring them, for opening unto thee a door when things make not for thy good. Depart, my friend, and find no fault. You are sailing to Rome, and you tell me to obtain the post of governor of Gnosis. You are not content to stay at home with the honors you had before. You want something on a larger scale and more conspicuous. But when did you ever undertake a voyage for the purpose of reviewing your own principles and getting rid of any of them that proved unsound? Whom did you ever visit for that object? What time did you ever set yourself for that? What age run over the times of your life by yourself if you are ashamed before me? Did you examine your principles when a boy? Did you not do everything just as you do now? When you were a stripling, attending the school of oratory and practicing the art yourself, what did you ever imagine you lacked? And when you were a young man, entered upon public life, and were pleading causes and making a name, who any longer seemed equal to you? And at what moment would you have endured another examining your principles and proving that they were unsound? What then am I to say to you, help me in this matter? You cry, for that I have no rule, and neither did you, if that was your object. Come to me as a philosopher. but as you might have gone to an herb sabbler or a cobbler. What do philosophers have rules for then? Why, that whatever may betide, our ruling faculty may be as nature would have it, and so remain. Think you this a small matter? Not so, but the greatest thing there is. Well, does it need but a short time? Can it be grasped by a passer-by? Grasp it if you can. Then you will say, yes, I met Epictetus. I, just as you might a statue or a monument, you saw me. That is all. But a man who meets a man is one who learns the other's mind and lets him see his in return. Then my mind, show me yours, and then go and say that you met me. Let us try each other. If I have any wrong principle, rid me of it. If you have, out with it. That is what meeting a philosopher means. Not so. You think this is only a flying visit. While we are hiring the ship, we can see Epictetus too. Let us see what he has to say, then on leaving you cry out on Epictetus for a worthless fellow, provincial and barbarous of speech. What else indeed did you come to judge of? Whether you will or not, you are poorer than I. What then do I lack? What you have not, constancy of mind, such as nature would have it be. Tranquility. Patron or no patron, what care I? But you do care. I am richer than you. I am not racked with anxiety as to what Caesar may think of me. Flatter none on that account. This is what I have instead of vessels of gold and silver. Your vessels may be of gold, but your reason, your principles, your accepted views, your inclinations, your desires are of earthenware. To you, all you have seems small. To me, all I have seems great. Your desire is insatiable. Mine is satisfied. See children thrusting their hands into a narrow-necked jar and striving to pull out the nuts and figs it contains. If they fill the land, they cannot pull it out again, and then they fall to tears. Let go a few of them, and then you can draw out the rest. You too, let your desire go. Covet not many things, and you will obtain. Pittacus, wronged by one whom he had it in his power to punish, let him go free, saying, forgiveness is better than revenge. The one shows native gentleness, the other savagery. My brother ought not to have treated me thus, true, but he must see to that. However he may treat me, I must deal rightly by him. This is what lies with me, what none can hinder. Nevertheless, a man should also be prepared to be sufficient unto himself, to dwell with himself alone, even as God dwells with himself alone, shares his repose with none, and considers the nature of his own administration, intent upon such thoughts as are meet unto himself. So should we also be able to converse with ourselves, to need none else beside, to sigh for no distraction, to bend our thoughts upon the divine administration, and how we stand related to all us, to observe how human accidents touched us of old, and how they touch us now, what things they are that still have power to hurt us, and how they may be cured or removed, to perfect what needs perfecting as reason would direct. If a man has frequent intercourse with others, either in the way of conversation, entertainment, or simple familiarity, he must either become like them or change them to his own fashion. A live coal placed next to a dead one will either kindle that or be quenched by it. Such being the risk, it is well to be cautious in admitting intimacies of this sort, remembering that one cannot rub shoulders with a soot-stained man without sharing the soot oneself. What will you do, supposing the talk turns on gladiators, or horses, or prize fighters, or what is worse, on persons, condemning this and that, approving the others? Or suppose a man sneers or jeers or shows a malignant temper. Has any among us the skill of the lute player, who knows at the first touch which strings are out of tune and sets the instrument right? Has any of you such a power as Socrates had in all his intercourse with men, of winning them over to his own convictions? Nay, but you must needs be swayed hither and thither by the uninstructed. How comes it then that they prove so much stronger than you? Because they speak from the fullness of the heart. Their low, corrupt views are their real convictions, whereas your fine sentiments are but from the lips outwards. That is why they are so nerveless and dead. It turns one's stomach to listen to your exaltations and hear of your miserable virtue, that you prate up and down. Thus it is that the vulgar prove too strong for you. Everywhere strength, everywhere victory waits your conviction. In general, any methods of discipline applied to the body which tend to modify its desires or repulsions are good for aesthetic ends, but if done for display, they betray at once a man who keeps nigh on an outward show, who has an ulterior purpose and is looking for spectators to shout, "Oh, what a great man!" This is why Apollonius so well said, "If you are bent upon a little private discipline, wait till you are choking with heat some day, then take a mouthful of cold water and spit it out again and tell no man. Study how to give as one that is sick, that thou mayest hereafter give as one that is whole. Fast, drink water, only abstain altogether from desire, that thou mayest hereafter conform thy desire to reason. Thou wouldst do good unto men, then show them by thine own example what kind of men philosophy can make, and cease from foolish trifling. Eating, do good to them that eat with thee. Drinking, to them that drink with thee. Yield unto all, give way, and bear with them. Thus shalt thou do them good, but vent not upon them thine own evil humor. Even as bad actors cannot sing alone, but only in chorus, so some cannot walk alone. Man, if thou art aught, strive to walk alone, and hold converse with thyself instead of skulking in the chorus. At length think, look around thee, bestir thyself, that thou mayest know thou art. You would fain be victor at the Olympic Games, you say. Yes, but weigh the conditions, weigh the consequences, then and then only lay to your hand. If it be for your profit, you must live by rules, submit to diet, abstain from dainty meats, exercise your body perforce at stated hours. In heat or in cold, drink no cold water, nor it may be wine. In a word, you must surrender yourself wholly to your trainer as though to a physician. Then in the hour of contest, you will have to delve the ground. It may chance dislocate an arm, sprain an ankle, gulp down abundance of yellow sand, be scourged with the whip, and with all this sometimes lose the victory. Count the cost, and then, if your desire still holds, try the wrestler's life. Else let me tell you that you will be behaving like a pack of children, playing now at wrestlers, now at gladiators, presently falling to trumpeting and anon to stage playing, when the fancy takes them for what they have seen. And you are even the same, wrestler, gladiator, philosopher, orator, all by turns, and none of them with your whole soul. Like an ape, you mimic what you see, to one thing constant never. The thing that is familiar charms no more. This is because you never undertook aught with due consideration, nor after strictly testing and viewing it from every side. No, your choice was thoughtless. The glow of your desire had waxed cold. Friend, bethink you first what it is that you would do, and then what your own nature is able to bear. Would you be a wrestler? Consider your shoulders, your thighs, your loins. Not all men are formed to the same end. Think you to be a philosopher while acting as you do? Think you can go on thus eating, thus drinking, giving way in like manner to wrath and to displeasure? Nay, you must watch, you must labor, overcome certain desires. Quit your familiar friends, submit to be despised by your slave, to be held in derision by them that meet you, to take the lower place in all things, in office and positions of authority in courts of law. Weigh these things fully, and then, if you will, lay to your hand, if as the price of these things you would gain freedom, tranquility, and passionless serenity. He that hath no musical instruction is a child in music. He that hath no letters is a child in learning. He that is untaught is a child in life. Can any profit be derived from these men? Aye, from all. What, even from a reveler? Why, tell me what profit a wrestler gains from him who exercises him beforehand. The very greatest he trains me in the practice of endurance, of controlling my temper, of gentle ways, you deny it. What, the man who lays hold of my neck and disciplines loins and shoulders does me good, while he that trains me to keep my temper does me none? This is what it means, that knowing how to gain advantage from men is my neighbor bad. Bad to himself, but good to me. He brings my good temper, my gentleness into play. Is my father bad? Bad to himself, but good to me. This is the rod of Hermes. Touch what you will with it, they say, and it becomes gold. Nay, but bring what you will, and I will transmute it into good. Bring sickness, bring death, bring poverty, and reproach, bring trial for life. All these things through the rod of Hermes shall be turned to profit. Till then, these sound opinions have taken firm root in you, and you have gained a measure of strength for your security. I counsel you to be cautious in associating with the uninstructed. Else whatever impressions you receive upon the tablets of your mind in the school will day by day melt and disappear. waxen sun withdraw then somewhere far from the sun while you have these waxen sentiments. We must approach this matter in a different way. It is great and mystical. It is no common thing, nor given to every man. Wisdom alone, it may be, will not suffice for the care of youth. A man needs also a certain measure of readiness and aptitude for the office, aye, and certain bodily qualities, and above all to be counseled of God himself to undertake this post, even as he counseled Socrates to fill the post of one who confutes error, signing to Diogenes the royal office of high reproof, and to Zeno that of positive instruction. Whereas you would fain set up for a physician provided with nothing but drugs, where and how they should be applied you neither know nor care. If what charms you is nothing but abstract principles, sit down and turn them over quietly in your mind, but never dub yourself a philosopher, nor suffer others to call you so. Rather say, he is in error, for my desires, my impulses are unaltered. I give in my adhesion to what I did before, nor has my mode of dealing with the things of sense undergone any change. When a friend inclined to cynic views asked Epictetus what sort of person a true cynic should be, requesting a general sketch of the system, he answered, "We will consider that at leisure. At present I content myself with saying this much. If a man put his hands to so weighty a matter without God, the wrath of God abides upon him. That which he covets, but bring upon him public shame, and even on finding himself in a well-ordered house, does a man step forward and say to himself, I must be master here? Else the lord of that house takes notice of it, and seeing him insolently giving orders, drags him forth and chastises him. So it is also in this great city, the world. Here also is there a lord of the house, who orders all things. Thou art the sun. In thine orbit thou hast power to make the year and the seasons, to bid the fruits and the earth grow and increase, the winds arise and fall. Thou canst in due measure cherish with thy warmth the frames of men. Go make thy circuit, and thus minister unto all, from the greatest to the least. Thou canst lead a host against Troy, be Agamemnon. Thou canst meet Hector in single combat, be Achilles. But had Thersites stepped forward and claimed the chief command, he had been met with a refusal, or obtained it only to his own shame and confusion of face before a cloud of witnesses. Others may fence themselves with walls and houses when they do such deeds as these and wrap themselves in darkness. They have many a device to hide themselves. Another may shut his door and station one before his chamber to say, if any comes, he has gone forth, he is not at leisure. But the true cynic will have none of these things. Instead of them, he must wrap himself up in modesty, else he will bring about himself to shame, and naked under the open sky. That is his house, that is his door, that is the slave that guards his chamber, that is his darkness. Death? Let it come when it will, but whether it smite but a part or the whole, fly, you tell me, fly. But whither shall I fly? Can any man cast me beyond the limits of the world? It may not be, and whithersoever I go, there shall I still find sun, moon, and stars. There shall I find dreams and omens, and converse with the gods.
Hello, Adriana, right?
Hey, where are you?
I'm at home. I haven't left yet.
Okay, we're just leaving the place that we just ate if you want to go to the Big Star place.
Okay, sounds good. But I want.
Okay, perfect. I'll text you.
Okay. Definitely no, bitch. Definitely not going to have drinks with you. I will text you. Okay, great. Great, great. So glad you're gonna text me, bitch. We just had a dinner and now we go drink with you and you buy us a drink. No, bitch.
But I agree with what you're saying. Whenever you never know who you're talking to. But that's what I'm saying. You never know who you're talking to. But the whole time you be receiving knowledge from the dark side, and it be being perceived as light. So yeah. And I took jury from what you said when you was like, Virtual said something and I said something, because that's the thing. I feel like we fall short on, like, we look at things one way and then just like you just get one side of it, looking at it that way, when sometimes you got to be open and say, okay, I could take jury from this, and I could take jury from that, and I could take jury from this, and then that blend comes together and it creates something else. When you ain't got to be closed-minded and say, okay, I'm going to just take everything he's saying, I'm going to run with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a little open. Not too open, though, because then you're all over the place, right? But it's just that combination of things, right? Because, for instance, that's how we started to debunk stuff, like the whole flat Earth thing, right? People starting to question flat Earth round Earth, and they starting to go into theories about it and look into it, right? Because it might lead us somewhere else, might lead us to a different place, might lead us to a different science. I don't know, but what I'm saying is you can't be so closed off. So I do the same thing Wise said too. I can take advice from this person, and I'm gonna take a couple of things that he says, and I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. And I could talk to somebody different, and they have an opposing view to the first person I talked to, but
for that YouTube. I think I didn't put it on YouTube. Good. I think it must be on Facebook or something.
Hey, John, I will say I appreciate your zeal in this matter.
My zeal? Wow.
Yeah, you have brought more people between, like, when y'all over in Tim's room and people be hearing y'all talk to us, like, they be like, yo, what's wrong with those guys?
So you must be really glad that I'm not hanging up my spurs like you and Jamal keep urging me to.
No, that was for your own personal health.
Oh, yeah, thanks for your concern.
For the sake of the conversation, you guys are the best recruiting motherfucking tool we have.
Well, that's good. Then I intend to keep it up, so you can depend on having me to help you out.
Hey, you know what? The Harlem Globetrotters need the Washington Generals, bro. And I appreciate you being the... They hotter than yeah, I don't know. It's probably because John, this room is at 0.56 in angular science.
in the hallway.
No, he said he actually admitted that Muse's room is boring without us, so he came right on over here.
He came here to have more fun. He said it. Yeah.
Well, I just felt like after the drubbing that you guys have taken the last couple of days, this really had to be the place to be.
We've not been getting this drubbing. I like that. Damn.
Hey, man.
That would happen.
I told you, John, you delusional, my G. Like, you can't see what's right in front of your eyes. And you wear glasses, so that's 4 of them. You got four eyes and they're all fucking blind.
Yo, we need a chart. We need to write this stuff down. When John got his 30% error on his always anytime, we need to write down the time when John said, if you get a gyroscope spinning with like a spiral pointing at a star, it will follow that star through the night sky. We need to get that arrested. John, you ever found somebody doing something like that before? You just made some wild.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No. Hey, Jamal, we need to hear what you're saying. Your mic keeps going like a wave, and not in and out.
Yeah, what's up? What is with Jamal's mic these days? He used to sound a lot better.
I had to replace my phone, but I didn't want to upgrade.
Yo, real quick, Jamal, you get you a little safety pin and dig out the little speaker holes. It might be some dirt and all that shit in there, like you said, bro. Because I remember I had my phone for so long, it's like it get caked up with dust and shit like that. So one little speaker hole at the bottom, you can get like a little safety pin, get all that shit off.
It's like picking Uranus and cleaning the poop out of your booty hole with a baby wipe after you take a big dump.
You gotta go. You gotta go now. You gotta go now. It's Sunday, not on the Lord's Day, or one of the Lord's days.
If he said that shit in person, I would have stolen, bro. No, he just be trolling.
Hey, Jamal, you was over there talking to the dumbass?
Bro, I was trolling this shit out of that. Wait till you hear the replay, bro.
Alright.
Yo, why is a riot coming for you, Linnell? Are you reading this? What?
I don't know what he say. I'm driving. Why would he say?
He been around Muse too long, bro. He catching that energy and he just be snapping out.
He hated
you know what?
Brother. Get that right around. You hate your brother?
Black Muse is his brother.
BBL Muse.
So here's let's see.
Yeah, John, what I was saying was, real quick before you go, now you can hear me, I was asking.
Oh, no, I'm not going.
The gyroscope, has you ever found someone who, like, did this gyroscope with a gyroscope?
Future. Yes, we're worried about the generations that are getting curses like bitches like Christina. We're worried about it. We need them to fix it. We need to fix the problem. Who else to fix the problem? The older generation. We gotta fix it. The niggas need better than bitches that give chlamydia. The niggas need better than bitches that give gonorrhea. The niggas need better than bitches that give syphilis. The niggas need better than bitches than Christina. We need better. 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 I think they need fucking better, bitch, because you're a horrible ass bitch. Y'all bitches is horrible. You young hoes is horrible. When I was young like that, bitch, I never, bitch. Never, bitch. Never. I have fucking morals, bitch. I have fucking things in my life that would never have me doing like that, bitch. And the thing is, you be screaming about your daddy, but bitch, it shows that he wasn't there, bitch. It shows your dad wasn't active, bitch, because the way you do, bitch, you come on this motherfucker begging for money, bitch. It would be no way. It would be no way. If your daddy had you set for the rest of your fucking life, you wouldn't have to come on this app begging people for money, bitch. Your dad would have had you set up with a little fucking trust fund. He would have gave you a little something from his estate. He would have gave you something, you know what I'm saying? Because my people set me. My people set me. When my people passed, they left me some motherfucking money. My people passed, they left us a motherfucking part of the estate, bitch. Yeah, that's how they have a motherfucker set up, bitch. You know what I'm saying? But you see, your daddy didn't care about you. Your daddy just up and left and deuced you. And that's the first time you met his ass, huh? When he passed, huh? That was the first time you met that nigga in person, huh? And now you want to cry about that bitch, huh? You're crying about that daddy, bitch. Crying about that daddy, bitch, huh? Damn, you bleeding. You bleeding on this app. You bleeding on this app for 2 months, bitch. He gone, bitch. He's not coming back. He's not coming back. It's unfortunate, but he's not coming back. It's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But just get over it. Get the fuck over it. Stop doing it his way. It's not fucking right. We're sick of it. We're over it. We're tired of it, bitch. We're tired of it, bitch. We're talking about you. We're talking about Christina. We're talking about Christina. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking make sure I come get your phone number and we're calling you and I'm saying, come Christina, come beat the shit out of me with my mom's walker. The day she gets one, God only knows in probably like 30 or 40 years, but the day she gets one, I'll make sure to call you if you're still around, bitch. Let's hope you can get there, you know what I'm saying? Let's hope you can make it to that age, bitch, because I guess we're all hoping to get there, but you young hoes be like throwing it in a motherfucking face that they own, like, I'm already here, bitch. Let's hope you can get to where I'm at, bitch. I'm living comfortably, I'm living great. No, bitch, ain't cranky yet. Ain't shit cranky about me, bitch. Your ass come in every room that we in trying to swing at us from the chat, bitch. Ain't nothing cranky about me, bitch. I don't think about you, hoe. You're not a thought of my life, bitch. I don't never think about you, bitch. How am I cranky when I don't think about you, bitch? I don't come for you, bitch. I don't sit for you, bitch. I don't come for you, bitch. She mad 'cause I was singing on that ass from the motherfucking Google a second ago, bitch. Cause the bitch thought she was gonna pop that shit this morning to my nigga and thought I was gonna come pop that shit back. Yeah, bitch. Pop that shit now, bitch. Yeah, that's what the fuck I thought. But so, always banging on you bitches' heads. No motherfucking hesitation. That shit will never be a motherfucking problem for me. Hitting you motherfucking bitches' heads together. Bing bong. Bing bong. Smack you hoes up left and right. Bing bong. Like we shit's great. Shit's great. I woke up from a great nap. You know what I'm saying? And then went straight to snapping you bitches up. Yeah. Yeah. This is fucking great. This is beautiful. Regular? What the fuck your name is? What your name is? Wait. What's your... Christina. Yeah, no, Christina. Bitches had to come in motherfucking underneath my motherfucking rooms and burners, bitch. Are you okay, bitch? I don't think about you like that. I don't think about you like that. Are you okay? Bitch got so mad, we packed her up. She came in the room underneath the burner and said, you all bitches need to die for suicide. I am crying. Yeah. Don't hang yourself in prison. Oh, I'm sorry. Jail, whatever. Bitch got so mad. She said, don't hang yourself in suicide. Like, we really get affecting these hoes real life. We really do. They don't want to do this. I don't let hoes like you affect my real life. This is an apple, right? Why you get so mad? Bitch, you gotta die for suicide. Why you got so mad? Why you were so mad? Don't give a fuck who like me or don't, bitch. I don't give a fuck who like me or don't, bitch. That ain't never been a factor for me, bitch. I am not a bitch that gotta speak like for people, right? Like, I don't care about that. I don't care about what people think, bitch. That's the problem with you hoes. You guys gotta be accepted by everybody and anybody. I don't give a fuck about none of that, bitch. I stand on my own. We'll always stand on my own. My mama told me to be a leader, never a follower, bitch. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, bitch? See, we know that your parents, again, were never fucking available. We see that they weren't around because you're a follower, asshole. You don't know how to think with your own brain, bitch. The pea brain that you do have, bitch. You don't know how to think with that little peanut you got, bitch. But I know how to think with mine. Mine is juicy with its knowledge and information, bitch. I went far, bitch. And we'll continue to go far like my kids, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can't relate, though. You don't. You don't know what I'm saying. You can't relate. Yeah, just roll them motherfucking cocked eyes, bitch. Roll them. Roll them, bitch. Roll them. Like I'm rolling up this blunt. Well, and I can pack your ass up while I'm rolling. Rolling. The fuck you got going on? Yeah. Shit, bitch. Multitask. I gave everybody that smoke. Everybody that drink. Hold up. Take your motherfucking shot. Hold up. Put your motherfucking blunt in the air. Take your motherfucking toke on that goddamn bone. Hit that shit and get that shit feeling good. Yeah, because hoes like this, they go crazy. They go crazy because they can't feel that good shit. They don't got that good shit. They will never have that good shit. Bitch, sell that back shit, bitch. How are you a fucking shitty drug dealer, bitch? How the fuck is you selling fucking nick bags, bitch? It's not okay. It's not okay. Don't be out here selling no nick bags and then having to sell a pussy too. And then begging for $40 on the motherfucking app on top of that. Fuck! That's a fucking wild triple whammy, bitch. Are you? That's a triple whammy. Are you okay, Christina? I am. I'm perfectly fine, bitch. I don't have to do none of that, bitch. I don't have to do none of that, bitch. I don't have to. Oh, bitch, you know what I look like, bitch. You know what I look like. PTR for me. PTR for me, Christina. PTR for me, Christina. You know what I look like. You got it saved in your phone. PTR for me. You know what I look like, bitch. You know what I look like. Put it up. PTR. You got it in your phone. Put it up. Nah, I'm telling you. Put it up. Because any other time your ass running to go put up that little Dodger picture, put it up. Put it up now. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Oh, you want the proof of the $40? Wait a minute. I want the proof of the $40. That's what I want. Proof of $40. Send me that. Is your PTR proof of $40? Mm-hmm.
Okay then. Well, I guess in the meantime, I guess we should all take a little water break per se. If y'all can, go drink some water, hydrate, replenish. You know, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna play a song real quick. Just to kind of, set the little tempo and everything right. And yeah, we can get back to it.
Truck, double R with the factory. Masala. We can I got a question for you. Hey, listen here. Listen here. You better not be telling me, darling. So we asked. Yeah, get out here. You fucking idiots. Oh, wow. Who the fuck? Hey, are you making fufu? Are you not making fufu? You not making fufu? You better not run with the fufu, my brother. My brother. And she look like Mowgli. He look like Mowgli right now next to the waterfall. If you don't do your homework, I'll send you back to that. So this is so ignorant, is one. Yeah. By the way, did you graduate the Hogwarts? It's okay. I love me some fufu. Yeah, I love jollof rice. Oh shit. Have you had egusi? I had egusi. Oh, what do you think of it? I love it. It's amazing. Oh, egusi. Really? What is egusi? It's like soup. I'll never try it. No, you don't deserve it. What? Just sounds that I don't want to try, bro. What? Good. Don't. What you say? We'll put another. Green beans and toast. I can definitely try it. Oh my god. Beans and toast. Please come home now. I got beans and bologna. Please come home now. I got beans and bologna. Open up a room in the exact club. None of this shit would have happened. None of this shit would have happened when I got mad. Because you're right. I did come back. But Jonathan, looking at this fucking evil ass woman that ruined business for me, that fucked up all kinds of things for me, it was eating me alive, sitting next to her, just wondering how the fuck is she fucking plugged in. So let me ask you this question. Why did you, forget about Nelson, why did you allow her to stand and make news after what she did to me? I just want to know that. Jerry, that room, from what I understand, because matter of fact, you reminded me of it, and I'm actually ashamed that I didn't remember that room taking place. But it was shut down immediately, okay? Within 3 minutes or something, like 3 or 4 minutes or something like that. Okay, let's start there. It was shut down immediately. It was shut down because she was attacked by every woman in this town. Hold on, Jerry. And so, and then let me just say this right here, Jerry. It's wild. No, Jonathan. Jerry, short, and she was spoken to. She was someone got levels blocked, Wack. Someone got levels blocked. Who got them blocked? Okay. Levels blocked. Got it. You ain't you, is it? Hey, Wack. We got you one of those, Wack. You want to what?
say that Yvonne was given the green light to go? Because I don't like. Can we say that?
Look, the lady is allowed to do whatever the fuck she wants.
I'm saying she was given the green light to do that. Can you just say that? I don't want it to look, no, fuck that. I'm not gonna let it look like Yvonne just did a roast for no fucking reason. She was given the fucking green light.
Let me tell you
Wait. Don't put that shit on Yvonne like that. Don't put it like that.
Let me tell you the content, Wack.
Hold on, so never mind.
There's levels in the room. I don't give a fuck about levels right now. There's levels in the room. There's levels in here.
You said what?
No, he's not in here yet, Wack.
Yeah, who got levels blocked?
Come on, Lord. Bro.
Wack.
She did it.
I believe.
Well, Michelle, you ain't got to be so thank you. Bro, it can only be Freddie. Only alcohol.
All y'all niggas drop me. All y'all niggas finna get dropped to the Google. That was the road. They got that one blocked.
Wait, stop trolling me, Wack.
Everybody one by one. Drop everybody one by one.
I don't got levels blocked.
Why don't y'all put a profile on top so everyone can search and make sure they don't have them blocked? That's how you do it.
Hey, yo, we're not talking right now.
Stop doing that, please.
Nah,
Hold on, Jonathan.
I see
Hey, Wack, let me tell you, Wack.
Ring through this. I know this. Yo.
I see what the fuck's going on, right? You know what's happening? A lot of
This
people.
level's shit on top, bro.
No, some R&B. What R&B though? Or somebody.
R&B queen right here. Don't call my motherfucking boy. She don't work for you, nigga.
Nigga, I thought you was home, nigga. What? Nigga, what is wrong, nigga?
That shit was
What the fuck is Nelson hiding at though? Why he got his Y'all niggas stay focused. That's how I know. That's
okay, who is Big Event?
Man,
let me tell you
Whack. Hold on. Shut the fuck up, boss. Man,
Hold on, chill out, bro.
Yes.
Who's Big Event, buddy? You know that?
I shot him. I don't know who he is. I shot him. I don't know who he is. Don't shoot my people. Nigga, that's Southside, nigga. No, don't do that.
Oh, that's Southside?
Yeah, don't shoot my people.
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, right, I told you.
They were telling me blocked.
Wait, no, alright. Put his profile to the top, and then y'all niggas put level shit. Nah, nigga, wax. Some niggas you really wanna.
Brady, why you got him blocked?
Alright, see, y'all being weird. See, that's the
Hold on,
shit.
no, we trying to figure this out.
See, alright.
Let me see what profile we got.
Wax. It's not the honey side, bro. Y'all gotta stop that.
I just told you, bro. Obviously, all I give a fuck about is
Wax. Alright, well, why y'all wanna keep
He's
talking?
sending me the profile down, Freddie.
Man, pin it to the top. But you
No, I told him it's
nigga,
Freddie, I don't know what profile he on.
nigga, but I just gave you the south side.
I'm about to open
I just gave you, man, all the other niggas. Man, stop talking. All you niggas stop talking.
You know, levels could have packed that nigga up a week ago.
Nah, but whack. I don't need none of that. What I'm saying is whack. Y'all just shot my mans, right?
Shot who?
Nigga, when y'all just said who the fuck is Big Event, nigga, I just gave you a random.
No, you didn't tell me who the nigga was.
Nigga, when he on the stage, nigga, that's why I'm out of here. What I'm saying is whack. All that shit what you be talking about, nigga, I just gave you a random. What you
talking about Atlanta?
It's funny.
Bro, all that niggas trying to hit levels in the room, bro. That's
nigga, alright, but y'all niggas keep giggling.
I thought we both was trying to get the nigga in the room, and you not
but ain't nobody pin his fucking profile to the top.
I told him go if you the nigga brought him up. You been on mute, let me run the room. So I ain't gonna be the nigga that brought him up. There's a lot of beans on stage.
Yo, Charlie. Man, this nigga, man. See, I'm already like Wack think he man, Wack, stay in LA politics. Stay in LA politics, bro.
What the fuck is you talking about?
I'm not gonna boom shit. You niggas finna boom. Y'all ain't boom shit. Y'all ain't rooms, nigga. I don't get rooms.
Hey, you already know that shit, Wack.
They set it up right now. No, I don't got levels. Brother, I follow levels. I follow levels. Y'all niggas sound stupid. What the stupid shit? Somebody levels dick sucking. Lame ass nigga. Y'all niggas on
the only eyeball on the floor is that guy with that young ass shirt on with that tight ass jeans on. No levels. He ain't got him blocked. Yeah, that big guy blocked.
That was my people.
Not you, but ain't major.
Ain't major got no dick.
Packed in Nick Pretty. You know what?
I have his accounts and your text. Put it in the top right. Thank you. No, Michelle, you do it.
I don't trust the guy with the pink fucking tight shirt on. I ain't trusting that guy with that fucking vest on. I'm not trusting the guy with the vest on.
Michelle, I trust you, even though, Michelle, we had our misunderstanding. Michelle, put it to the top. Okay. Michelle, the egg is so full. Somebody go. There you go. Man, who got levels blocked? Because that's not me, nigga. Once I find out, I don't have levels blocked. Whack. Okay, whack.
I didn't think it's linked to realize I had
whack. Once I find out who got him blocked, I'm blocking him. I don't got levels blocked. That's my people.
You just sent me the link right now.
That is my nigga. I put it in the top. I put it in one of these lame ass niggas. Thank you, Michelle. The fuck? And I'm gonna block the bitch ass nigga who got levels blocked. I'll keep levels out my room.
Oh, send me a
That's a little bit different.
Where's bitch ass Nelson at though? Hold on, there you go.
Yeah, what's your fixation with Nelson, bro?
Man, stop sucking his leg, man.
Who said it, Wack? So I can block
Somebody
it.
was just saying it.
Who?
Stop talking. Who just said they had him blocked?
Say, I heard
It
that
was a
too.
female voice.
No, I was just saying that I PTR to show y'all I don't have a block.
Hey, Major, did you hit that link up?
That's not A Major. A Major don't block nobody. Leave my turtle alone, Wack.
Ask everybody. Listen.
Alright, go ahead. Nigga, I don't check. Nigga, but Wack, I don't check R&B, nigga. Don't check my turtle, nigga. Nah, don't
Nigga, that ain't your motherfucking people right there.
You a motherfucker.
You fucking ain't Major now?
But, nigga, if I was, then what you gonna do about it?
She's a Freddy's angel.
Thank you, Michelle. Wack, find out who got it.
Stop biting, saying
I saw that nigga Wack. Hey, Wack, find out. Man, hold on. You got no sense, Wack. Hold that.
I'm gonna fight Vito.
Hold on. Wack don't. Go ahead. Hold on. Fufu.
The last thing you do that look like Watch it. He called her a turtle and she looked like a fucking grandma.
y'all niggas clean. That's what you said. We heard. Watch the audio. Watch this. I don't know, bro. Levels might be fucking around now. All right. Right. PTO. What up? Cause y'all fucking around. PTO, right?
BT, I'm gonna because that's when I came in and Levels came in and he dropped Freddie. And he said, Freddie, it was you, bitch. Stop playing with me. Freddie is nuts. It was fucking Freddie the whole time in the room. They had Levels blocked. Lord, that room was crazy. Child, I kind of took a nap too.
Ooh, that made me tired. Ah. So we never got to the business of
So apparently they're gonna have a room today at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Oh shit, they did. Let's go, guys. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna meet BT. They have a room right now.
After the whole Nelson thing, I brought hello interview. He was trying to interview hello.
Are you okay?
Because I was at lawyer. Or Jack the one blog.
Oh, well, how about you? That is funny. Okay, you guys, that's a recap from yesterday. If y'all go to the Million Marathon right now, that's where they're gonna pick it up. So we're gonna be heading over there. Do y'all know
Somebody
the link?
grab the link.
Where is the room? Okay, somebody go grab the link and we're gonna put it here.
I'm probably blocked.
Not you blocked out.
Well, they have a lot going on behind the scenes. Like a lot more than that. But it's all, y'all don't have the attention span. So just to summate it, them niggas is messier than we are. It's just behind the scenes.
Doing it. Chad is just gonna be a Million Man Marathon room. Nelson and Panga full of shit.
Habsburg monarchy, which later became the Austrian Empire and the Austria-Hungary, was a significant European power with different territories and political structures than the various German states that eventually unified into German Empire. The Holy Roman Empire as well. Austria and many German states were part of the Holy Roman Empire, but the empire was a complex and loosely structured entity with significant autonomy for its constituent parts. The
construction of Germany isn't that different than the construction of America, throwing away the monarchy of England, with Germany throwing away the monarchy of Austria.
Yeah. And also, German is Protestant Reformation and also remain Catholic.
Very Catholic. They're like the Catholic Empire.
This religious division further differentiated Austria from many parts of what would become Germany.
Cool.
gunned down and get knocked out like your father used to.
Bitch. Bitch. Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch.
Creating the states of Germany, but that's like a political evolution. Whereas the Spanish Portuguese one, they even tried to unite, but it seems like geographical limits and the value of having the Atlantic coast solidified two separate regions.
Yeah, and also remember that I mean, I don't know, like in Europe you have a very high, how do you say, density of countries, or like, I mean, everyone is like pretty close to each other, and even though you would think that it would be easier, you know, to like all get together. It was the opposite, right? Like everybody wanted to have their own territory, and they were fighting on
because there are big geographic distinctions, even though it's all land and you can go to any part. Like there's mountains in the middle, there's rivers, and different histories, like who was touched by Rome and what era and why.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but there have been clear distinctions. I mean, you come to Europe, and from one country to the other is another world completely. You know, like they have complete different cultures.
Yeah, a singular Europe would be like similar to the Russian Empire, right? Like those are all different states with different histories, but because of the USSR, it's all just one big mush, and I'm sure it works because communism works.
Right. Yeah, when they broke down, they broke into all these little countries, and they all adopted their own. Well, they have already had their own.
Because they've always had their own thing.
Yeah,
communism is like, it's a veneer. It's an imperial veneer on multiple distinct states.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I was in school, and I was. Yeah, when the whole end of the Soviet Union, I was in 4th grade, and I remember that. So they teach you, you know, in 1st grade you learn history of Guatemala. 2nd grade is like Central America. 3rd grade is like the whole of Latin America, and then 4th grade you go into like world history. And in 4th grade I was going to go into world history. And the first day of school, they tell us, I mean, you go with your books, you know, of geography and stuff, and they tell us, okay, so these books, they don't work anymore, so we're gonna put them away, and here are the new maps. And they gave us maps. And I didn't really understand what was happening, you know. It was just like, oh, this is weird, you know. Like, my books are not valid anymore. And we got these maps.
Yeah, free Tory, eh?
Yeah, good. Sorry. It took me a little bit to find the button.
Hey, John, can I have a big free Tory real quick?
Yeah, that's a weird thing about
I don't
trying
think he
to
wants
teach
to
people
talk.
up-to-date history, because history shifts as political values change.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting.
Oh, simple map. This is the planet. It's definitely this. Oh, my bad. All these lines are wrong.
Exactly, yeah. And so our books were completely, well, I mean, we still use them because they had geography and history in them. And so we still use them for the historical part, but all the geography part, we had to completely dismiss it because the maps didn't look like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but the maps don't look like the maps. They lie. They're not as, the countries are not what they represent on the maps.
Maybe instead of history, we should be teaching geography and then like highlighting histories by region.
So if you look at the Cartesian map, and you actually look at the total surface area, you know, like Greenland is represented as this massive, you know, continent. So the way that they have the way they've demonstrated these maps are not accurate, because of the curvature and basically, you know, coming up with the ability to create a relative size based on known, landmass. I mean, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but.
Yeah. I saw a video on that the other day. A guy that actually did kind of like a scale map, based on the actual measures of the countries and stuff, and it looked quite different. Like Russia was not that big, and Africa was much bigger.
They had this like ongoing episode, like every season or so, of inviting crazies to the White House to hear unique, strange ideas. And one idea that I really liked, because it just like makes you think of things differently, it was a bunch of cartographers that wanted to teach upside down maps in schools. That South America should be taught as being on top, and North America should be taught as being on bottom, because there is no actual up and down on the map, and there's an oppression there. And I thought, oh my God, you're right. Like we could just look at it sideways. There's no reason to do it like this.
Well, kind of is. I mean, you have northern hemisphere,
Yeah, but north can be down. There's nothing that says that north is up always.
Well, listen, like that, I'm not ready to change my world conceptions, and I'd be happy like that.
It's actually just putting it back to what people thought before 600 years ago. Like, if you look
a
at
long time ago, they used to orient everything by east.
Yeah,
the sun.
Exactly. So south was north and north was south, and like old Italian maps. I think the Faro maps or something like that. If you look at it, you'll see Africa as being in the north and Italy being in the south.
If you think about how big Asia is and how big Africa is and the total combined populations of over 3 billion people, which is essentially 50% of all the people, what I'm trying to say is it's so vast and so big that we definitely live in an English language word industrial complex based on the population sizes. So we have this false notion that these English speakers here in America, etc., are really all that significant in comparison to the total landmass and total populations of the planet. We are just a small collective of this incredible Asiatic landmass and horde of people, of billions of people.
Yeah, but Asia's always been cut off, primarily because of their techniques of language. Mandarin is an interesting innovation.
Yeah, but you love the story of Babel. So if you don't think that technology isn't going to catch up and create a universal communication tool, I mean, it's already pretty much here.
I'm not sure what a universal communication tool would look like, because people are still going to learn language in the biological way, just like picking it up from their parents. And so that means that it's more likely that we technologically quickly translate other people's cultural impressions and presentations to our cultural notions of presentation. So there's still going to be a divide. It's just going to be that we understand each other faster. I'm never going to think like.
I'm just saying it's going to be real time, because it's going to be on video and you'll have captions. So it's already happening.
It's not real time until you can get into someone's head. And I'm not saying that you can't, Neuralink, who knows, maybe. But, until then, it's still my eyes and ears interpreting what someone is putting out or what something is interpreting based off of what someone's putting out. And the interpretation, that can be nearly instantaneous. I agree with you there. But I'm still going to have to read it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well,
until you get the Neuralink. Neuralink could be something.
What about real-time audio conversion, where there's a 3-second delay, but you're hearing a real-time translation that's 99.9% accurate?
Nah, that's not true. If they're translating it to my language, they're making tons of decisions about how to process it to me. If it's really good, it'll take into account my interpretive lens and get it to me faster and more precisely, but it's still making decisions. Mandarin does not translate to English.
Okay, Let me ask you one last question. Do you think that the universe is essentially doing this self-optimization, and even this conversation is a component of the universe creating this universal type of harmony
I think it's
or
a little
communication?
arrogant for humans to talk about themselves as the mind of the universe.
But why? I mean, if the universe created the
Because
Earth,
you're a talking monkey. Just like chill out. Alright? You're not the epitome of the universe. You're like a dude on one of the rocks.
well, your brain is 65 million years of human evolution. I mean, it's an advanced piece of biotechnology.
It's impressive, it's cool, but you're still just one of the many brains living on this rock.
I know, but we're successive, meaning that we're the latest generation.
I think we're cool too. I just don't think that we are the level of the universe understanding itself.
But don't you think our eyes, our mouths, our ears are apertures essentially for this universal lens?
No, I think we're mostly figuring out ourselves. If we get really good at figuring ourselves out, then we can talk about being the ultimate consciousness of the universe. But know your role. We're not quite there yet. We're still killing each other over nonsense.
Get back in your lane, Edmund.
Yeah, but you won't even have a spaghetti with meat sauce and 2% whole milk. I mean, what's your problem?
What do you mean? I have spaghetti and meat sauce. What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying that, like, you're LARPing as an Orthodox Jew, and you. But what I'm trying to say is that Orthodox
We're all
Judaism.
LARPing as humans here. Welcome to Earth.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is all world religions may actually end up becoming redundant based on some type of technological innovation or some type of discovery or revelation, whether that's alien technology or something to that extent, something which
I doubt we're going to find aliens with technology better than ours. But regardless, what you're describing, I'd say it would be a universal human consciousness. If we could all communicate perfectly, flawlessly, from mind to mind, that would be a new state of humanity. I don't know what that would look like.
it would be through cell phones still, though. I mean, we don't need
No,
to take.
no, I'm saying no barrier, no interpreter.
I know you're a married. I know you're a married man and you have kids, but you haven't been out with a hot 26-year-old Colombian who's using a Samsung flip phone to communicate with you real time with closed captioning. I'm just saying that the communication global divide.
That sounds like noise to justify you having sex with her.
No, I guess I did, but anyways, the point is. The point is, real-time communication is pretty much as good as it's ever been.
But there's still loss in translation.
I know.
Even English speaker to English speaker, there's loss.
I mean, look at that Bill Murray movie with what's her face. That it technically. See, the whole thing is trying to baby. So if the Tower of Babel means anything, it's the universe trying to essentially reverse engineer babying.
No, the story of the Tower of Babel results in the separation of the languages, which is to say, humans often want exactly what you're describing, but the Tower of Babel illustrates that humans will try to say it's there, even when it isn't. They'll just say, hey, guess what? We're all equal now. We all understand each other. It's all resolved. And that's just disregarding the truth of their origins, the loss in translation, the languages.
I know, but you are operating off of a bias that the Hebrew alphabet is the secret ancient mystery language that... What do you mean God Hashem created the universe using the Hebrew language?
There are older languages than Hebrew.
It doesn't matter. The motif or the LARP is that Hashem, Rabbeinu Shalom, created reality using the Hebrew alphabet. And that's why we were talking earlier today about abracadabra or Abraham, ABCD, being the basis for simplistic creation.
God created the universe, and the Jews who spoke Hebrew expressed it as purely as anyone ever has with Moses, their prophet.
By abracadabra is Aramaic, by the way, just so you know. It's not Jewish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you claim that the Jews and Moses have supreme divine authority as opposed to even Egyptian magic or opposed to Chinese or Hindu philosophies, I mean, you have to admit then that all Orthodox Jews, all Hindus, all Muslims, all Christians are doing nothing more than an advanced role-playing game at the personal level.
Well, I don't know how your conclusion follows, but yeah, the Jewish narrative as to why the ancient Egyptians and the Hindu are mistaken is not that they weren't studying the one true God. They were studying the one true God. The problem the Jews maintain is that they also studied the powers of the universe, sometimes referred to as angels or forces of nature, and they identified those because they were more relatable than the one true singular source of all things, and they ended up muddying the message. All of the followers ended up just worshiping a sun god or a moon god or a harvest god or an underworld god.
Do Jews believe in angels?
Yeah.
And do you have any, I'm gonna sound stupid, any communication with angels?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes they talk to prophets. That's usually who a prophet is talking to.
I didn't believe in angels until I started dating this 25-year-old Colombian, and she had this Saint Michael angel candle thing, and when she lit that thing and she rode me, I saw Saint Michael above her cheering me on, giving me the thumbs up. I was like, "Roberto, you should loyal Saint Michael!"
And how many joints did you have up to that time?
I can't remember what we did, but she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. I mean, but I'll tell you the truth. I mean, once you fuck one, you realize there's 100,000 more out there. So it's like, how do you decide to stay with a woman who's twice divorced? You know. Anyways, the point is, Reborno Shaloilim.
Yeah, so the Jewish move is not really to deny the existence of the other gods. It's more to put them beneath a singular design.
What do you mean all the gods? Why do you refer to them as gods?
Because they were worshipped as gods. Thor.
Oh, you mean okay. What by referring to the Egyptians and stuff? Okay.
All of the different gods that people have studied are, we would say, regional powers that were studied in regional places and regional languages, and there was different practices that picked up from different priests trying to figure out how to understand harvest and how to understand the moon. So it's not that those things didn't exist and that there aren't powers or insights to understand about reality. It's just that they're all working cooperatively, not in opposition, which is often what happens with these competing schools of deities.
Okay. But do you still also believe in angels, as in like, this angel, kind of like, this is his job, this other angel, he's known for this, and this other angel, like, do you assign kind of like specialties to the angels?
Not exactly, right? Because we don't, in terms of like the natural forces of the universe, we don't so much name them because we say that they're all functioning under the one design and they're maintaining the universe. In terms of like the angels we discuss, they're like given specific missions to deviate from the natural order of the universe. They're given names like Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Gabriel is often like the right hand of God. He engages in destruction, the strength of God. Michael spoke with Abraham and told him about the prophecy for Isaac. Raphael healed Abraham, so he's a source of healing that's contrary to the natural flow of things like that. Like the angels are deviating from the natural order. The natural order is the way God set it up.
Do you think the word angel is also, the word angle, meaning that we do this?
No, the Jewish word for angel is malach, which roughly means messenger, which would say an agent of God.
Got it.
Accomplishing something on behalf of God.
Isn't that very close to Greek Hermetic, Hermes, or to Mercury, or to Odin? I mean,
No, Hermes was one type of god that was a messenger for the deities.
Right, dealing with communication. So if you practice mysticism and you're doing chanting or mantras or reading Torah out loud, I mean, you're trying to essentially evoke the angels, but what you're really doing is creating an emotional charge or change or psychological.
No, we don't pray to the angels.
Well,
we don't what?
We don't
pray to angels.
Well, that's because you're Orthodox and you have been educated to be a kosher human being and a normal person. I mean, you don't tie your wife up into felon either, do you?
To one angel, people are going to start worshiping that angel.
Well, what I'm
That's the old story of idolatry. That
right.
Adam knew that there was a God. He knew the one true God. He was in the garden. He left. Cain and Hevel knew. But the son of Cain, Enosh, invented idolatry. He invented it as a way to make God more accessible to the people that had never experienced him. Because Cain and Hevel, they spoke with God. Adam spoke with God. But Enosh had problems. People hadn't spoken with God. They didn't know what he was talking about. So he focused instead on God's glorious creation. He says, focus on the sun. The sun is beautiful. You need the sun. Know that there's a creator of the sun. And people did that. And then even within that very same generation, they stopped focusing on the creator of the sun and focused on the sun itself.
What about using angels to intercede or to communicate?
No, we don't use intercession. We only pray to God.
But what do you have angels? They have usually been, they have usually been kind of like communicators, and they have interceded, right? Like when they communicate, for example, with Moses, or they communicate with other, prophets. It hasn't been God with them. It has been through angels. Well, several times has been directly God through them. To them.
The reason an angel is okay to talk to God, because the angel is a focus, but you have to be at the level of a prophet to see an angel.
Well, angels don't have agency over themselves, so
they
worship
fulfill the will of God.
They fulfill the will of God. So it's like if the angel comes and talks to you, you're gonna show that's the word of God, because they're not talking as Gabriel. They're talking about God.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So if you talk to an angel, you're basically talking to God.
If you hold by Christian and Muslim angelology and demonology, because they maintain that there are evil forces that can seem to be forces of nature from God. Like Lucifer. If Lucifer is an angel and he's a high up angel, then why would you trust any angel that's talking to you?
Right.
It's a problem.
Why would you trust Gabriel? If you talk to him?
We trust Gabriel because there are no evil angels. We don't hold by dualism. If you hold that there are two powers, then you really can't trust any of your sources, because it could be coming from the good guy, it could be coming from the bad guy. If you say that there's really just one power, and all of the angels are faithfully obeying his law, then you could trust an angel, because there's no other power. Just one source of all.
This is interesting.
If you haven't read Zohar, it's incredible
I haven't
because.
yet. I'm waiting until 40.
So I've got this Blue Book version, and I was reading about it today, and it's just really incredible because it really is like Harry Potter world. It's like a Jewish Harry Potter world.
You don't need to wait till 40, bro. You sound like
an old Jewish tradition.
You can handle it, bro. Come on.
I have no doubt.
It's Jewish tradition.
I could probably survive.
Well, there's a reason why they have to tradition.
I'm not going to do
By
it.
the time you reach 40, you're more mature enough to...
Well, he's trusting his teachers. Because if they decided that, if they advised that it would be appropriate to wait until you're 40, then he's just choosing to follow the advice of the people that he considers wise.
I know that I have a different way of looking at the world from when I was 28 and when I was 18. So I have no problems just being patient and waiting. There is a,
maybe that's the lesson in
life.
Probably it's even actually just about patience, Sin, and so it's
40,
why would you?
He's lazy. 40 is the representation of the Sephiroth, the 400. It's the same thing with the 400 Spartans. If he's waited to this long, he's got a family, he's got a job. Migzed could be the Mashiach. Rabbeinu Shalayim.
Can't be a Mashiach, I'm a Kohen.
Rabbeinu Shalayim. Maybe El Normo is the Mashiach of the night.
That could be.
What if the Mashiach comes in the form of a woman?
That would be the Shekhinah.
Why make that? What?
That's a Mashiach is the anointed king of the Jews. That's a man. Sorry.
Well, we are equal.
Hey, listen, you and I
What
don't
if
get to
what
be
if
Mashiach.
he
I'm a
identifies
priest.
as a he?
You can be like a queen if you'd like. Although he might have
See,
multiple.
Issa, you're not Jewish. Your roots have to be Jewish. Otherwise, the Mashiach cannot spring up from your Kabbalah out of your tuchas.
The king married non-Jewish women. Made them Jewish.
Yeah, well, oh, that's another question I had the other day. So we were talking about conversion, and somebody said that there was, I mean, Judaism is only through birth, not through conversion. I'm like, okay,
No,
so
that's a lie.
then how do you do,
A lot
I
of
mean,
people
like,
say that. I really don't know why they make this shit up.
but yeah, so
Because they're ignorant and dumb. I think they're also trying to say that Judaism is exclusionary, and if you really want to join a club, you got to go with the Christians and the Muslims.
But hold on. Let's say I want to become Jewish.
Yeah.
And I want to convert. Okay,
Yeah.
so hold on. Let's say that I want to become Jewish because I want to marry the love of my life that happened to be Jewish.
Oh.
So that means like, yeah, well, we're gonna have a Jewish wedding, a Jewish marriage, whatever, and my kids, we want them to be Jewish, right?
Yeah.
So, but what if I don't do it because I am in love with someone, I just want to become Jewish? Just
that's the only
on
reason
my
you
own.
accept it. If
Is
you
it
wanted
okay?
to do it because you were in love with someone, we would tell you to rethink your life choices.
What?
If you said that you wanted to convert to Judaism because you loved a man, we would tell you to think long and hard about this.
But I'm just giving the example of the scenario. Like if I wanted to become Jewish because I don't know, I believe in all of this, and I want to. Well, we want to get married, whatever. But if I'm single and I have no ultimate goal of reproducing and having children, whatever, am I still allowed to convert?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's the opposite of what you think. If you wanted to convert in order to marry, we would be more suspicious of your motives. If you wanted to convert simply because, I don't know, you like Judaism, we would be far more eager to explain it to you.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that distinction.
Because the concern with, because we've dealt with this problem for centuries at this point, millennia, when someone converts because of love for a marriage, sometimes marriages fail. Sometimes, a little bit more. And then if your love goes away, your attachment to Judaism, in your eyes, might go away. But in our eyes, we're still going to consider you Jewish if you really converted in. So we don't want to create that situation where we believe this woman has to live to a higher standard than she believes she has to live up to.
I see.
That's why
we're
But bro, like I heard like real American Jews on YouTube saying that you cannot convert, you have to be born Jew.
Well, that's a lie.
American Jews.
I don't know who's lying, but that's a lie.
From Detroit and shit.
And who are more likely to be accepted for conversion, a woman or a man?
I mean, it's probably easier for a woman. Less restrictions.
Well,
Guys
I'm
have to
just
take on more
curious.
obligations.
Because I remember, like, Jewish friends and stuff from college and work saying that, like, a lot of them personally don't consider you a Jew if you convert. Like, that's just their feeling. Like, they still consider you. Like, there's going to be Jews that are basically.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a specific law that they're violating when they say shit like that.
What is it?
You're not allowed to treat a convert any different from any other Jew. There's also a special law that, like, there's a law that you're not allowed to cheat someone in business. But there's two laws that you're not allowed to cheat a convert, right? One because he's a Jew, and one because he's a convert. And you have to be careful about the convert. Like, there's a law.
You can cheat the goyim.
Oh my
no, you're
God,
not allowed to cheat the goyim.
Pepe, let's not go this route.
You're not allowed to cheat the goyim, although I will tell you there are permissible, like, contracts that you can make with goyim, like interest. You're allowed to charge them interest, they're allowed to charge us interest. Oh, I have a call.
Read your I messaged you on Telegram. So.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, let me check because I haven't been checking my messages so far.
There was a lot that was
Mixed if there was a Jewish constitutional convention, what should be updated according to your observations?
I wouldn't answer that question. But I'm just curious. So it may be against the rules or whatever, Judaism to mistreat a convert. But I would think that if you were born somebody, this is how okay, so let's say, for example, if you have somebody who converted as an adult, but you yourself grew up as, a Jewish kid with Jewish family and all of that, you would, and then here comes a convert, I could see how you would still make a differentiation. If I didn't grow up Mexican, I'm just not one of them.
Bro, it's very known that Judaism doesn't treat converts very well. It's very known, and it's almost like many people think that you can never convert. And many Jews on YouTube say you can't convert. Jews themselves say that.
Yeah, that's not true. If you want to convert, why do you think rabbis exist? They're in the education business. If you want a halachic, rabbinic certificate, so when you show up at David Ben-Gurion Airport and they're quizzing you, and you say, call my fucking rabbi, I want my human fucking rights, they're going to process you and say, okay, come on in. It's what you're saying, in my opinion, is not true. If you are a sincere convert, and you really are a sincere convert, I don't see how a Jew is going to be able to, not give you a sufficient Jew test to determine your conversion and then confirm it with an actual legitimate rabbi. So I don't think what you're saying is accurate. But that opens up the question, if 1 million people around the world wanted to play a game and say, hey, I converted to Judaism and got an online rabbi to give me a conversion certificate, how could Israel stop 1 million people from flying into Tel Aviv saying, I want my human fucking rights? Rabbi, Nosson from the online Jewish university gave me my conversion certificate. How does Israel prevent that from taking place?
Well, isn't for the Orthodox conversion, doesn't that take years and it's kind of hard to bullshit your way through? The one that, the Israel accepts?
You can't really bullshit your way through. But, you're going to have to go to certain places in America to even do that type of a conversion.
The most logical explanation I found was in other religions they encourage you to become to convert to their religion, but in Judaism it's no encouragement, and the way to become Jewish is so complicated. It's not as simple as saying a word and becoming a Jewish. You need education, like 1 year of education and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's what is it, 1 to 3 years living in and amongst an Orthodox community, working with the rabbi, doing the whole thing or going to some type of a organized university. I mean, I did a conversion class for couples doing intermarriage. That's a much easier way for a Reform Jewish synagogue educational facility to offer conversion because it's based on marriage. So, all these things have pragmatic and life-changing type scenarios. It's not just like a nobody's going to waste their time converting to try to become some kind of a subterfuge or infiltrator. I mean, it's a fun concept to think about, but most people are just going to live where they live and live their best life.
So, if I married a Jewish woman, then, I'm guessing conversions aren't really that big of a thing for the male because you're going to have Jewish kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if if your dad is not Jewish and your mom is Jewish, like your dad's kind of a bitch. Your dad's kind of a cuck. I mean, because that means that father essentially contributed to the children of Israel, has no title, and his children are higher than him. I mean, that's literally a Jewish woman using a goy man, to repopulate the earth and be plentiful. Ruboin Shalom.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't understand.
It's a good thing from a Jewish perspective. From a goy perspective, from the opposing party perspective, if you think that everything is a Jewish conspiracy, that's how you want to communicate your life. Come on this app and talk about everything's Jewish, or everything is black, or everything is white, or everything is, yellow or brown or purple or green. I mean, you do you,
Well, I did, I did know a lot of kids in Catholic school that like their dad was Jewish. It's actually not that uncommon. Where they're like Christian, but there's the dad married Christian.
I think like Islam is winning the convert game because to become a Muslim, all they have to do is do the Shahada in Spanish.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of it, Christianity is depending. I think Catholicism, I went through the process since I was a little kid, so it wasn't like, and I went to Catholic school, so kind of just, it's all done for you. But I think even with Catholicism, it takes a while. Not like an Orthodox conversion. But yeah, even my ex, her dad was Jew. I just forgot about that.
In Islam, all they do for you is that they take you to the mosque on Friday. Has to be on Friday. You go to the mosque on Friday's prayer, and then you do the Shahada, and it's finished. That's it.
Are you Muslim?
No, but I'm ex-Muslim, so I grew up in it.
Well, I mean, I thought anybody can do the Shahada for you, any Muslim.
No, you have to do it to become officially a Muslim. They have to do it on Friday's prayer.
I mean, Friday is essentially the day of Venus or the night of mystical lovers. So, Islam, Judaism, and the esoteric philosophy or psychology behind those two religions, if you study Sufism and Rumi, the poetry of Rumi, you will get a better understanding into both religions and Christianity as well. But you should read Rumi, the Persian poet of mystical.
I'm actually not even interested in this stuff.
Well, the thing is, you spend a lot of time talking to religious people on this app, who at least claim that they're religious people.
Contemporary stuff and like cultural practices. That's the kind of stuff that interests me when it comes to like philosophy, religion. Like that's just, it kind of gets, it's just some people are just like really.
I know, but that's why you talk like you're a platypus or a duck. Think about that. Maybe you need to read new information because you're low IQ. Think about that.
Shut the fuck up.
There we go. Low IQ equals low EQ. So think about that.
Go sit on a big dick and get AIDS.
Think about that. I mean, you can't have the thought if you don't know the word, you don't know the concept. If you don't read the book, you can't have the concept. I mean, you do you, Pepe. Just, I'm proud of you that you're not doing, black hate platforming on this app anymore. You've really grown up. So mazel tov.
The fuck, you were in my rooms every day fucking streaming them.
Yeah, you used me. You would use me to build the room, then you kick me, and it was a parasitic relationship, and it worked out well. I have the proof in the pudding, and what do you got? You got nothing. Issa helps platform me too. Issa helps let me capture a lot of great content. So thank you, my darling fiance.
just like going back to the topic, Islam and Judaism is very like similar because both of them believe in like similar type of God. Like the God is very similar. Like the names of God, the esoteric stuff, you know, the magic stuff is all the same.
I don't know. There's so much history there, and I've seen like 20-minute, 3-minute videos and talking about like how much like Judaism has changed over the decades, kind of like Christianity, or not decades, centuries. And I don't know what this Kabbalah shit is.
No, I think like if you look at it like let's say Judaism started the whole thing, right? Then there was an offshoot that was the Christianity. But Islam just brought it back to the desert, brought it back to the original idea.
Yeah, but you're discounting Romans and Greeks. I mean, their religion, their philosophy, their entire history is vast, and their religious practices are vast, and their deities are vast. So, for you to just say the Jews started the whole thing, the Christians took it and updated it, and then the Muslims gave the final revelation. I mean, if you look at it in totality from an academic perspective, you know, you have to accept that everything that it's a fucking smorgasbord, that it's a fucking buffet. So I don't know how anyone has authority to say one of these categories is the definitive catalog. It's a ridiculous assertion. But if you look at them in totality, I think that's the better way to look at comparative religions.
At least the Muslims didn't kill Jesus. However, they're killing people now. So you guys both need to find Jesus Christ, find salvation. Otherwise, you're going to burn in hell.
1 second, like the Greek and the Romans, how did they affect this religion we're talking about? Like the Greeks, they took from it, but they never added to it. Like,
no, you could LARP right now Roman religion or Greek religion in terms of, you know, ancient religions. I mean, there's people that are these new age spiritualists, you know. I'm just saying that it's books, my friend. And so if you have the collection of books, you have the wisdom of all these ancient sacred religions, and you have the psychology, you have the philosophy, you have the culture, you have the understanding of God in all these books, and that's that. It is what it is, you know. That's why I'm making fun of Pepe and saying, you know, if you don't have the book, you can't get the concept. You can't have the words to even understand what these world religions are trying to get across, which is always self-actualization. It's always I think Pepe said it earlier. It's like the self trying to discover the self, but anyways, it's all about personal development and helping to educate, you know, the youth to take on the future of the empire.
Yeah, actually, we have like Temple of Apollo and Temple of Zeus where I'm from. But the thing is, the last time these places were used to worship was at least 3,000 or 2,000 years ago.
I was dying laughing, T-Robs, when I was doing the big impersonations, and you were like, "This is the crossover I needed." I was fucking dying laughing. But, you know, it doesn't matter whether you have Muhammad or Moses. We got a girl named Big on here, and oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Big love, bitch, free Tory.
John, I was disappointed to see someone actually meet you tap out.
What are you talking about? Made me tap out. Oh yeah. But she comes in my rooms while I'm just playing audiobooks. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Are non-Jews welcome in his room?
Explain this free Tory bullshit to me, though. I'll get the balls.
I'd have to Google that one myself.
Oh, I thought it was like someone on Clubhouse or something.
No, it's probably I think she's from Toronto or Canada, right? I don't know. It's got to be some kind of hip hop music lyric or something.
Pepe, so why were you trolling me?
Because you deserve it.
I thought we were on the same team.
I thought you were claiming to be white.
I am white, bitch. Shut the fuck up. So
what the
basically,
fuck are you
why?
doing your PTR then?
I have a skin condition.
Like Michael Jackson?
Nigger-titis, more like it.
Anyways, but yeah, I am white.
Oh, wow. And I'm
Is this like internalized racism?
Well, what is racism?
Honey, you ever heard of niggerization?
What does that mean?
It's an Afrikaans studies. Yes.
Yeah, but I was born in the wrong skin, and I've always been white. I
Body
just have a
dysmorphia. She does have that is actually a
So just like how you're a faggot, I'm white, you know?
Exactly.
Okay.
Why are you trying to appropriate someone else's culture?
Exactly, Jemima. Not all of us can be pancakes.
Boy, nice shit, Loyline.
Not going to lie.
Oh, Joy, send me $1. I'll send you $1 back, but will you be my talent agent, Joy? I'll be your talent agent.
John, what do you do for a living?
He's unemployed.
Well, I'm facing an employment lawsuit and unemployment insurance, so it's up in the air what I do for a living. What do you do for a living, young lady?
Yeah, I'm a woman. I'm not meant to work.
Oh, I see. Okay, you're a prostitute. You're a hoe. Got it. You're an
No,
OnlyFans Hinge
a rich
escort.
dad.
Oh, that's right. I've heard you talk about your rich daddy.
Well, if you're not a hoe.
I'm a virgin.
Well, congratulations, Claire. Do you love Jesus Christ? Is he your Lord and Savior?
Yes.
Raboinai Shaloilam. She's had a come to Jesus moment. Let's respect the come to Jesus.
Do you bleach your asshole?
That's a good question. Yes, I do.
That's hard.
Where's Rondi when you need a payment?
Too busy being a hoe.
I had a crush on Pepe like once, but he was too. I don't know. His skin color is weird. I don't know if he's tan or if he's just like that.
No, darling, he's a wetback. He's disgusting. You don't want a Mexican like that.
Really?
Yes. Ew.
He's Corsican.
But you're gay, so like.
His family's from Corsica.
Darling, I like men, so that's men that.
Normally, if a gay person hates that person is probably legit. So. Like,
ugly.
Okay. So like, I don't like it because his skin is weird and he's fat with boobs. But like, apart from that, I like how racist he is. It kind of turns me on. There's a time I was in a room, I was literally masturbating to him being racist. You're gay. Stick to it. Anyway.
I watched straight porn. But I found myself being a woman getting popped.
So anyways, I think he's like, the way he talks about Black Americans turns me on, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God, hey Rick.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Free time, big love, bitch.
Oh no. John, so what inspired you to become a troll on this app with your number, you know?
Because I think you know as well as I know that people waste their time on this app in unbelievable ways, and so I just for 4 years I've been recording it, documenting it, researching it, testing it, trolling it, having fun with it, and you know it. I can thank a lot of people on this app for forcing me to do it, but I had to do it, and you know I've listened to you quite a bit, Claire, and I think you're a wonderful person, and you're a ray of sunshine, a beautiful light. Raboyna Shalorlin.
She's not gonna fucking work.
So you created your own logo?
Looks like a nigger bitch to me.
I am not, take that back, lips. I cannot with all of those.
Right in here. And a Jew right down there.
Pardon?
Oh, nothing. It's a typing error.
By the way, my dog says hi to all you guys.
Oh, hi, pretty boy.
It just figured I'd lighten the situation up a little bit.
Come on, you're a fake friend. That bitch is gone. She's a fucking fake friend. You guys are fakes to each other. Oh my goodness. Hold on. It's 7 o'clock. I need to go masturbate. Bye, guys.
Oh, dude, you just missed her. Like, girl apparently was feeding it off to you being racist to people. And he's waiting, she's amazing.
We didn't know where he went.
That might be one of the weirdest things. Okay, stop that. Fucking. That might be one of the weirder things I've actually heard on Clubhouse, that some girl was beating herself off to someone being racist, right? Fuck off.
Yeah, that was definitely a little awkward. But
okay,
oh my God.
I mean, it's not the weirdest thing ever.
Doesn't he sound like Rick?
Who, me?
Yeah, you must be Jewish.
No, I'm fucking Irish, my friend.
Oh my God.
Are you from Jersey?
No, I'm from fucking Chicago.
Oh wow, there's Irish people there? I thought they're all Mexican and freaking Italian.
Oh my God. No, there's some Irish folk here.
Whereabouts in Ireland?
Well, I don't know fucking idea. I didn't grow up in Ireland. I'm just Irish. Like, I would love to go to Dublin. Never been there, but I would love to. Not gonna lie.
I'm the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think he's interested.
No.
Anyway, cute dog.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's Miss Katie. She's adorable.
Yeah, I got myself all the fags hate me for it, but I got a female dog as well.
They're the nicest people ever. Well, not people, but...
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dog fag. They're great.
Yeah, you really haven't met the real fags.
I've had dogs my whole fucking life.
Oh,
What, dude? I always have these weird cars just like stopping in front of our house. Or, okay, never mind.
No, I said Eric.
That's about to be a different person, is it?
Well, you answered the same person at the same time, so it's the same person that you just said.
Well, I'll definitely tell you I'm not Eric. I promise I'm not Eric.
Well, good, because Eric has scoliosis.
I wouldn't lie to you guys. Because if I did lie to you guys, that would just be, like, wrong.
You don't need to lie to yourself. Anyway, Lucy, what the hell's up?
Nothing, I came here to be entertained. I left it out for like 5 hours.
Huh?
Listening, 5 hours? I left the app like fucking 5 hours ago. What did I miss?
I have no idea. I was been paying attention.
No, I don't blame you. No fights today?
Yeah, no, we are avoiding fights because
That's good.
Drama, little queens, just get off on that shit.
What are you doing? You gonna post your bedtime? It's like midnight.
I know it's 2 a.m., yeah.
God.
I'm actually sitting on top of my bed.
Oh wow, you are top. At least someone's flying differently.
That's right. Actually, where the fuck is Ryan?
Probably doing some like orthodox type of thing.
Like in church?
No, they'll be ridiculous. Probably gonna go around town and eating and talking about the Bible and shit. I don't know. I'm not his receptionist. That's Ryan.
Ryan does love the Muslims.
I should see him he's being crucified by the Jews.
What was he saying?